Dean, something terrible happened this weekend.
Oh no, what?
Absolutely terrible. So I have an iPhone and I have iCloud, so it backs up like every night supposedly the full phone.
Dude, not the Latino MILFs.
No, Dean, I wouldn't be able to survive.
That's for Dropbox.
Yeah, that's reserved for Drive. If you don't have it in more than one location, Dean, you don't have it at all. But I have all these. Work in progress videos on my phone, like for months, like, ideas that I'm kind of tweaking, real content, if you will.
Okay.
And I was just having so much problems with my phone. Like, it just you would turn it on and it would just wasn't working. So I had to reset it. And I was thinking, okay, like I backed up yesterday at 9 o'clock, like I should be fine. Dude, months worth of work in progress content and some graphics, like just gone, bro.
Damn, that sucks.
Just gone. So I don't think we're going to be making real content on this channel for a long time, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah.
No content.
And I don't know how to feel about it.
Sad.
Are you an angel?
What?
An angel. I heard the deep space pilots talk about them. They're the most beautiful creatures in the universe.
Hello there.
We are tonight's entertainment.
We would be honored if you would join us.
He's got a billion toys.
You brought in the adult collection.
These are not dolls, Jim. These are commodities. Same as gold or oil.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
You are now listening to the Collecting Weekly podcast.
Shall we lock in the artillery power?
This is the true form of floor gang right here. Very nice. YouTube.com/collectingweekly. Thank you very much. That's very cool. Big.
Hey guys, my name is Zach.
I'm Dean.
I'm Jonathan.
I'm Fern.
I'm Marco.
And I'm Ben.
Welcome to this week's episode of Collecting Weekly. It's a weekly podcast where my friends and I talk about the things that matter the most to us this week in collecting.
That's right. We want to thank our friends over at 1/6 Corner for sponsoring this week's episode of Collecting Weekly. Guys, don't forget, use code CW10, that's capital C, capital W10, during our live recording for 10% off all in-stock items. Make sure you go over to 16corner.com.
We have a great show planned for you guys tonight. We have some... what's that, John? You're just making faces at the camera. We got some cool things to talk about tonight. We got some great new photos of the Queen Studios Gandalf, which is I think it's gonna be a very spirited discussion. And we also have a brand new Hot Toys figure, which is very cool. But Dean, before we get into all the news and the talks and the spirited discussions, there's a very special segment that all of our best shows start off with.
Yeah, you guys ready?
Yes.
It's new this week.
Yeah. What did you get new this week? So I was able to stop by Zach's place to pick up some stuff he's had for me. Mainly the Sonic from Sonic 2, the movie. Very cool little figure. And Tails. What are these, like 4 inches? They're not very big.
Well, I mean, 4 inches is pretty big, let's be honest.
Yeah, that's true. I think that's more than enough. If you're
I mean, it's certainly satisfying for some.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, these are really cute. They're really cool to have on the desk. I like them a lot, so thank you, Zach. Also, the Pog set, bro.
Yeah.
Finally got my hand on the Pog set. This is
let me
cool.
bring you solo cam.
Wow. Yeah, so
decent, dude.
Yeah. Decent. Yeah, I like it.
What do you think about
That's sick.
It's super cool. I kind of want them off, because they're Pogs, but I also don't want to ruin this. Like, it's so
I think you
cool.
can, put them back. I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, there's definitely, they're, punched.
Inset.
So
Yeah.
once you take them out, they're not going to go back for, 100%.
Perfectly.
But
yeah.
So I don't know how I want to do it. So also our beautiful D&D set, the dice.
Yeah.
With little Ozol on the front. I don't know if that's supposed to be Ozol, but it's hilarious.
Oh no, I didn't plan that, but that's hilarious.
But we had our D&D game on Saturday, and that was hyped as shit, bro. So this is cool to have.
Dude, D&D's pretty lit, man. I've been sleeping on it, but watching a bit this weekend, I'm like, this is
it
actually
gets
pretty
wild,
sick.
man. Yeah. Thanks for tuning in, you and Gigi. Also, picked up the comic, the 9.8 keychain. We gave them away on John's show, the Collectors Club. Super cool. Front and back, exactly like the real CGC. Very cool. And then finally, I've been looking for this. It's the Boba Fett from the Book of Boba Fett Black Series. This thing is such a solid figure. It's kind of infuriating how good it is because this is better than the show. Like, this whole figure is better than the whole show. So,
what about the figure makes it so solid? Because I'm still debating the Hot Toys version.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's well done. It's solid. Like, it's not loose. The helmet fits great. The backpack fits on without falling off. I've had a few Black Series where it like just doesn't peg in properly. The head sculpt is amazing. I don't know how well that'll pop up on this camera.
Pretty dang good for that scale.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and like the price point is like insane. Yeah, I mean, I guess like the paint could be a little better, but it's like a $25-$30 figure. Like, the fact that you could get this quality for not like a $60 like SH Figure Arts is pretty amazing. Now, Figure Arts gonna have better articulation, but like they're also a little more delicate, So like this thing, I could chuck it across the room and I know it's gonna be okay. I would never do that, but yeah. So solid pickup. If you guys are looking for this figure, I recommend getting it. Don't sleep on it. So,
does the head look properly scaled? If the helmet goes over, I didn't hear a popping noise, so I assumed it just went over.
Oh yeah, no, it totally
okay. Cool, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's great. It's such a solid figure. It's got like a soft rubber cap in it, so I guess it grips a little tighter. Yeah, it's really nice. Super solid. But that was my week, guys. What about you?
Oh, you're muted, Zach.
Fern, are you able to grab the New This Week sticker in your collection, or is it like stored away?
Yeah, I could get it.
Okay, cool. I want to show Sam. If you have the base one too, that would be cool.
Yeah, I have a couple.
Thanks, man. John, you got a New This Week on the tech side. What are we rocking today?
What is it called again? The
Razer
Kaio Pro. Yeah, how's it looking? It's not bad actually, man. When you do, it's the webcam. It's a good camera. Shit.
Dude, you look at that. You're not like what is it like? Sometimes you get kind of like slow-mo.
Yeah, because this one's actually hooked up to the computer as opposed to what I was using with Bluetooth.
Streaming.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
It was the cell phone.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is actually hooked up.
I like the glitchy, John.
I know we've talked about, so in regards to the New This Week sticker, we've talked about doing a reissue like of a fan favorite sticker, so that would be something for later this year. I know. Obviously the John sticker is probably right up there for the reissue. So we'll.
I was gonna say,
should it be like
another sticker?
Should it be like a Home Alone scream with the hands on the face and then reissue on the forehead or something?
Oh my god!
Oh, that's perfect.
Look at Manny on that.
There you go, Sam. If it doesn't win the reissue, I'll check my. I may have one in my backlog. But yeah, John, it looks really good. Shout out to the Patreonies for getting that ordered, and every so often we're able to kind of give a little bit of an upgrade to our hosts and kind of incrementally improve our quality. So John streams a lot, so he'll be looking a little sharper each time he streams.
Appreciate it.
Ben, you got something really cool this week.
Yeah, so I've been slowly collecting this Adventures Continues line, and so I was able to pick up the Robin to go along with my Batman. Now, I've had a couple suggestions that I should have gone with the other Batman, which was like a black and gray version, as opposed to this one that has kind of the blue inlay, but For me, I honestly think this one looks a little bit more classic animated series, whereas the black and white one, not as much. So, but they're all cool, honestly. And the Robin to go along with the Joker, I'm going to have the Joker bashing this guy's brains in front of Batman. So it's going to be a little aggressive and also kind of cool to see. But I also got one other thing that I should have added to the show sheet, but I didn't. But it's mostly for John's benefit. So if you want to solo me really quick, Zach.
Oh boy!
It's the Star Trek Enterprise D.
Wow!
And if John,
beautiful.
you know,
Do you keep a trash can next to your desk? You know.
when John starts going off the rails, I'm gonna give him a couple torpedoes. You know,
which Enterprise
straighten
is
him
that,
out.
Ben?
So this is the Enterprise D. So
nice.
from Star Trek: The Next Generation. That's right.
Yeah.
So
Beautiful.
and I mean it comes with light up features and all the cool stuff. I got it at off a Facebook Marketplace deal today. So
do you need to message Rainer and have him send you pictures of his Enterprises? They're they're huge.
Cool. I want to check that out.
2 feet long, bro. They're massive.
Well, and like I might hit up Zach for some advice on how to like blackwash it a little bit. I think I'm gonna paint some of the windows in a little bit because it's a used version, so it's a little dirty. So I want to kind of clean it up and see what I can do with it. But
leave it outside, natural weathering.
That's right, natural. But as I said, if John goes out of line, I'm gonna shoot some torpedoes his way. So
shoot torpedoes,
just so you know, buddy.
Torpedoes go back to Fresno, or
torpedoes go down.
I have access to the eject button, so you can shoot away.
Oh shit!
Oh boy, I had a great week. We talked about it last week. The insane deal I got on Mercari on the Hakaroku 24 Razor Crest. It's a YouTuber. And I didn't really know what to expect, to be honest. Like, you know, the video is just like a quick build and then like 2 seconds of final shots. But this thing is fucking huge. It's like twice the size of the legit Lego version. And for the price, I mean, I was talking to the guys like, yeah, I spent like $300 putting anything on the Bricklink, and I paid like 1/6 that price to get it. So I did feel a little bad because you could tell he spent some money because all the bricks are like pretty much brand new. So I got a crazy deal on that. And
Zach, not trying to be a smart ass, but what am I looking at exactly? Like, what's the state of
thank
this?
you. Yeah, so that's the Havoc Marauder. That's the shuttle from the Bad Batch. It's like probably at the moment one of my favorite ships in Star Wars, and it's a so Lego built their own set, but it's kind of not great. And so this set's about twice the size and like 2 or 3 times the number of pieces, and it's the right color. The other one's like blue. So definitely an improvement on the original set. And I'm hoping some of the videos I lost, which was really annoying, were different like work in progress Lego mock reviews. So I'm kind of discouraged about whether or not I'm going to finish that series, but maybe it'll be on the channel at some point. And then Sunday rather, I unboxed the Mondo Toys Iron Giant from Mike Cruz in the Patreon chat. I've had this for a few weeks, and I've been kind of waiting for the right time to unbox it. And Sunday seemed as good a time as ever. So if you want to check out that unboxing, it is on our YouTube feed. And then just a quick note about the unboxing that we did yesterday. We had some issues with the playback. I'm not exactly sure what happened because during the stream it was fine, but I guess when it went from being a live video to processing on YouTube, something happened. So we had to delete the upload and then re-upload it. So kind of a weird thing, but if you guys wanted to check that out, everything should be working now. I haven't heard any complaints. Checking in with the chat before we get to the news, we have Mr. Strange, Tukatri, Toy Mafia, Lane Kramer, Sweet Angel, Nicolio, Ben Thomas, Equan, Sam Gist, John Ortiz, 123 Thor Gaming. We also have Trendy Tech. Tuke said, "Where's the merch store?" Drop the link there for you in the comments. We have PT Works. Trendy says, "When the Pogs coming out?" Toy Quest 101. We also have Mark Pearson, Pepe Pascal, Boogie Manny, Doc Smizzle, a bunch of other people in the chat. So a bunch of angels. Fern, were you able to find the new this week sticker by chance?
Yeah, I did.
All right, let's see what you got.
There's this little one. And then there's this hollow. There's this hollow one.
There we go. Beautiful.
Sweet.
And then this one's
crispy, bro.
This one's for the base.
There you go.
And then my favorite sticker, just throwing it out there.
Oh hell yeah, baby, dude! Those
we need
are
to do that one again, but
dude,
bigger.
those are like archive stickers. Like I don't even have those stickers. That's how
there's
how
a few that Fern has. I'm like, fuck, I don't have that.
Yeah, look.
Fern's got the whole collection.
Damn.
Wow.
Fern, you need a bag and board for those, bro.
For real. After all that shit we all talked. Let's get into the news. We'll start with the Hot Toys Multiverse of Madness Doctor Strange. This one comes in at $335 and it's releasing July to September 2023. I'll be honest, I have not seen this movie, so there's a lot of things that don't make a ton of sense to me here. But I love that they have the bonus edition second portrait and they blur it out, but it's like, this could be a huge spoiler for the movie, so maybe they're right to blur it, but it's done pretty poorly to the point where like it's not really hiding the spoiler. I haven't seen the movie and I pretty much knew whatever that was. But you also have some different effects here, which I think if you're a Doctor Strange fan or you have the figures, I think he comes with the best effects of any Marvel character, to be honest. I think the way they look on display and the different pose options, the hand options you get, I think are pretty good. I think 335 is maybe a bit high, but I don't know. Have you guys seen the movie? What are these dragon things on his hand?
Yeah, there's like a fight in the movie, and
it's when he battles Shang-Chi in there.
Wow, really?
Spoilers.
No, I don't even. I think maybe he's fighting another Doctor Strange. I don't remember exactly, but that version also uses like these like weird dragons, and then he pops them out himself.
He's like able to pull like monsters from like different dimensions to like help him. Like
it's
at one
the
point,
what if version. Right?
Yeah, like at one point he pulls like a big old monster to like stop a car, like out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's a cool movie. I just don't know if this offers enough. It's like you had the version 1 Strange, which is still arguably the best. Then the Infinity War. Was it Infinity War or Endgame? Infinity War. Then we're getting one from Spider-Man. And now this, it's like, that seems like a lot back to back to back. Maybe I'm wrong, but especially the Spider-Man one and now this, it's like, I don't know.
It feels like a lot because his costume doesn't change that much. So
right.
it's like,
yeah, this one is definitely
the same guy.
Yeah, this one's definitely different enough between the first three. But yeah, I don't know. It seems like a lot. And $335, bro. Then shipping and tax of $400. Absolutely not. Just no.
Isn't this like almost the same circumstance that we went with the Beskar Mando, where we don't even have
literally.
Yes, 100%.
the Doctor Strange in hand yet? We're already getting another one. Like,
yeah,
I will say in this case, because I'm not that big of a Doctor Strange fan, so maybe I'm speaking out of turn here, but I think with the Beskar Mando, I think it was a little worse because one was clearly like much better and much more accurate. With this one, like I don't know how important that third eye portrait is, but maybe it is like enough to push it over the top where it's like why even bother with the in between ones. But 100%, John, like definitely
not really, but the outfit is different though.
Yeah, this one's definitely like if I was like I needed Doctor Strange, I would just get probably this one and skip the one from Spider-Man, because like that one, I mean, other than like the cube, like I don't really remember coming with something that's like, oh, I need that, At least this one comes with 2 head sculpts, But I don't like this outfit as much as the other ones. Because, like, it just had a lot more, like, pleated detail and layers to it. This one's very flat and not boring, but it leaves much to be desired. So, I don't know. But, I mean, now you're going to have 4 Stranges to pick from, in 4 years when this one comes out or whatever the fuck.
it's crazy.
So, I think it'll be nice for the Strange market, if you're looking for a Strange and on and pick one up relatively cheap, but
we're always looking for Strange.
But yeah, I am a little worried though, because not only are Strange figures expensive, you know, even in the aftermarket, but if this one's $400 like to get, spending $300 on a used one is going to seem like a good deal. You know what I mean? So I feel like it'll be a buyer's market, but the prices are still going to be high because it's like, oh, well, you want mine or you want to spend $400 on the new one? So I don't know. What do you guys think?
So this is a tough nut to swallow for me because I would say that I've been waiting for a Doctor Strange for a while. I would have been kind of frustrated if I'd put in a pre-order for the No Way Home Strange and then this one came out. I think that that's what John was saying in terms of the best car.
Right, Ben? Like you knew that the film was coming, so
exactly. And I think for this film, I was hoping for a different enough of an outfit that if I'd pulled the trigger on the No Way Home one, that I wouldn't necessarily feel like I was waiting for the same figure to release. I would still say, like, for my opinion, this is still the definitive Strange. I like the head sculpt. I like how the hair comes forward on his forehead a little bit. I think that's a little more iconic for the character. I thought the one that had his hair slicked back a little bit actually took away some of the likeness for him. And I like that with a second head, you could technically make a whole second figure out of it. You could kit bash one if you wanted to, even with some of your other Stranges potentially. So now I also noticed, and I'm surprised, I haven't seen many people talking about it, but it does look like the cape on this is wired, at least with some of the promo images that are being used. If that's the case, I think you're going to be able to get some pretty cool and dynamic looking poses. I hope it's not like a cheap wire, obviously.
If it's the same wire from the Infinity War version, Ben, it's not super strong, unfortunately.
Okay, so I've never had the one in hand, so... Okay, so hopefully they innovate on that 100%, because otherwise I would say that this is by far my favorite one I've seen. It is just, like you guys said, the price point that hurts a little bit when I convert it to Canadian and then get it across the border and all that good stuff. I'm looking at probably $450 Canadian, which is real high. That's real high. So I won't be somebody that can collect all of the Stranges. It's going to be this one or something from the past that I end up just adding into the collection. But I really like the movie, so Zach, I definitely recommend seeing it, bud, because for me, as soon as I saw the film, I wanted to get Doctor Strange in my collection, 100%.
I saw one clip on YouTube, and it looked like I was watching a fever dream. That should look confusing AF.
It kind of is a fever dream.
A little bit.
So it's kind of fun about it. But no, I'm the same, Ben. Like, I really enjoyed the film, and I want to talk about these two things in a bubble, but you know they're very much interconnected. So first of all, how the figure looks, like this is definitely the best version of Doctor Strange we've gotten. The sculpt looks spot on. All the accessories are really cool, like nothing so innovative or like crazy, but like it looks great. And I do like the the evolution of the costume. Like it just, if he had the yellow gloves, that would maybe kick it up a notch. No spoilers there, but then the price, as mentioned previously, like the price really is making me nervous because this is the trend. We talked about the Kate Bishop, and I think she came in about $280, really stripped down. It's like, okay, like where's the accessories? Where's maybe an extra sculpt? Where's things that we want? Well, it's in here, but they want to charge a premium of $335. So I really don't like that trend, and something that I really don't feel like I can support. So this would feel like something that you'd wait on because all the Marvel is so saturated and they tend to drop in the secondary market. This feels like one you definitely can wait on, but the figure looks great. So I can't rule it out from adding it to my collection, even though I have Infinity War, but yeah, that price, just killer.
For me personally, I don't mind. Let's see where the price point's going. We got price points at, you're getting less in the box for $285. So this coming in at that price, you're getting 2 portraits and a whack ton of accessories. So the price doesn't surprise me. And not only that, but they're gonna milk the Doctor Strange cow, considering the movie just came out. So I'm not surprised. It's a good looking figure. I think that if you don't have a Strange in your collection, then yeah, why not go with this one? Unless this isn't unless you have no use for that second portrait, and you're fine with like an Infinity War or Spider-Man one. But yeah, it's a good looking figure. There's no complaints. The portraits, I think the portrait's great. I think the only complaint here is they need to work on their their skills on blurring photos, because that's for someone who was trying not
atrocious.
to. Holy mac! It's like, come on, third eye blind over here. But I think it's a cool release. I'd pick it up.
What do you think, Fern?
I think for 325,
340.
I mean, or 340. God dang! I mean,
that extra $5, huh?
It makes me think, like, I'm glad Queen Studios is coming in and giving Hot Toys competition, because I mean, these prices. I mean, I'm thinking about fucking selling all my shit and just sticking to comics, to be honest. But these prices.
Well, I mean, that is a very valid point, one. But first off, Queen is doing very well, but I think they're having a positive effect on the price. I think the price is going to go up with Queen Studios. In my opinion,
yeah, you're probably right.
It does feel like there might be a correlation. Yeah.
Yeah, yes. But if you're spending $400 on a Hot Toys and then you get Queen's quality for $100 more, maybe
Bingo.
150,
Bingo.
like.
But that kind of brings it to the argument of, like, if you could get a quarter scale polystone statue, which, you know, obviously won't have the same artistry in it, but I mean, you're trying to look at, like, you know, you're getting to that quarter scale statue price, so it's all relative.
But everything correlates, yeah, because then
even the high end quarter scale market,
the statues are going to go up, yeah, of course. Oh yeah.
I mean, back in the day, $400 was secondary market. Now it's retail.
Yeah,
100%.
They're slimming down that scalper pricing, right? That's what they're doing. That's what this is. This is This is Hot Toys saying, "Hey, you think you're going to flip my figures? No, we're going to maximize what we can, because you don't see Hot Toys going for those scalper prices like they used to."
Yeah, but also at the same time, especially with, like, the Infinity War figures, I mean, people were selling those things dirt cheap, like, you know, Tim Sant or what's his name? Is it Tim Sant?
Yeah, Tim Sant.
Like, it's like, bro, people aren't paying retail anyway. So, like, are you really maximizing your profit, or, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It seems like a weird slippery slope to raise prices, and then they're just gonna sit anyway.
You're right.
And just remember about pricing. The prices that we're quoting, like,
right,
you know, the 335, that's, you know, 80, 90, $100, sometimes more than the secret base price. So prices are definitely going up, but there's also other factors, not just Hot Toys only, in that increase in price.
But even then, Tim Sant is selling them, like, he paid secret base prices, and then I'm paying even
You're
less.
basically paying secret base plus shipping. Like, for Rocket, I think some people were getting them for, like, you know, 180, which I think is, like,
I think I paid like 130 or 140.
Tim Sant, he's based out of Hong Kong.
Yes.
Yeah, so he's not losing money.
Yeah, he's not losing money, but he's certainly
that's
not
what I mean.
making
Like,
money.
Yeah, even
100%,
him, the figures are sitting so long that he's got to discount
got to cut his
them.
losses.
So
yeah, because like, the Infinity War line up there, they didn't do very well.
That's true. I mean, like, the Star Wars figures.
Star Wars
really sit.
Gone.
Yeah,
no,
gone
Star Wars gone.
Immediately. But yeah, I don't know. It seems like a risky kind of thing to.
Oh, look at Fat Thai Kid. He just said,
look at this. Yeah, he said, I just sold 43 of my Hot Toys, only keeping 4 and moving on to statues now. Got tired of Hot Toys not giving us better quality.
Wow.
Toys Era, the Sky Scavenger. This one comes in at $340, which is identical in price to the one from last week. Releasing Q3 to Q4 2022. Again, a lot of people have upset in some of the Facebook groups that this may be a copy of others out there already, though I don't think this is the case with the wingspan being significantly smaller. This one, I think, does have a much improved Michael Keaton portrait. I think this is probably one of the better ones that I've seen, including some of the high-end sculptors, and the fact that you're getting this portrait plus all the light-up effects, and certainly not an accurate scaled wingspan, but it feels good enough wingspan. For $340, I think this is going to be a really strong contender for people who didn't have the 4-foot space for the Jazzing Dioramas one, and I think Toys Era does some great work, and I'm excited to see some people be able to get a little bit more of a manageable sized Vulture in their collection. The wingspan is very, very small, though. It's,
I was gonna say, almost looks like the Marvel Legends ones.
Yeah,
tied to a figure.
Do you have that picture of all three of them compared?
I don't think I have it in the show sheet chat, but yeah. So you get lights. I think you get the gun. You got the portrait, LED in the helmet, and then the turbines rotate and supposedly they spin. Anyone considering this? I know we talked about it last week that it's been kind of a while that this film came out, so maybe the Vulture hype has died down. But I'm curious if anyone's going to pick this up.
How much did you say it was?
Price point that I found was $340 Q3 to Q4 2022.
Absolutely not. I don't like the character enough to spend that kind of money.
Yeah. If I was going to go with one, I think I'd stick to just a higher quality Jazz Inc. But my concern here is now if we're going to see Hot Toys wanted to get some skin in the game, because they originally teased this. This was in one of their photos, I believe, if I can remember correctly. So
that's true, John, because we've seen companies release figures like almost seemingly out of nowhere. Like, do they know something we don't? And then bam, it gets released or shown by Hot Toys. So that's entirely possible.
Because
especially
we had
all
like
the Spider-Man hype.
From what I've heard, like Jazz, when these went up, Jazz lost some sales just due to price point. Because I guess people just don't want to pay that heavy price point. But I think if Hot Toys was to come out with one, I think the third-party ones wouldn't stand a chance. Take that with a grain of salt, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. And this seems like the best-looking third-party one for me. I know the Jazz Inc. one is supposed to be really phenomenal, but the wingspan would just you wouldn't fit in my collection. So the fact that it's a little bit more scaled down, I like that Keaton sculpt. I think as I mentioned last week on the show. So this is one that I would consider, but because the Hot Toys shadow looming large, I think that kind of scares me off. But I'd be really interested to see what they might put out. Obviously, knowing that they're making that Sam Wilson Captain America figure, they put a lot of engineering into those wings, so maybe they can translate a bit of that into like a newer version of this Falcon. So yeah, holding off. Point. But this looks cool. This really intrigues me.
$340 for me is way too much for this figure. Unfortunately, it's just it's a deal breaker. I feel like they missed the mark by not having a third party company call this like the Birdman or something along those lines, just in reference to Keaton's Birdman movie back in the day. But still, I mean, no, this would be a no go for me. Unfortunately, happy for anybody who's getting it, but not for me.
This is the photo that Fern was referencing. So the Jazz Inc. dioramas, which I believe is a true 1/6 scale, is 122 centimeters. The Eternal Toys is 102 centimeters, so like 9 inches less. And then the Toys Era is 92 centimeters, which is about a foot less than the Jazz Inc. diorama.
Toy Mafia is saying that the Toys Era one they're gonna upgrade the wings to a bigger set. So
if someone can send me that in Messenger, I haven't seen that.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, if you guys have like something that they're saying that, send it to me, please. Yeah, definitely an interesting figure, and I think I would be shocked. I know Dean mentioned it, but I would not be surprised within 6 months if we saw the Hot Toys one, which seems to be the case with like the Green Goblin stuff and other things in the past. That we'll get something like that. So. Definitely not a bad price point, and I know Ben's really excited to talk about this. It's the Exo 6 Sulu. The pre-order was for $198. There's no release date yet, and Exo 6 made a really weird thing that for me, to be honest, like I don't really care about Sulu, but it almost overshadowed the figure. If I'm being completely honest, they put. Let me see if I can find the exact wording so I can quote it. But they basically said that due to the ongoing situation in Ukraine, they would not be releasing this figure in Russia. And to me, that is such a weird thing. We've certainly seen like Formula One, different sporting events get pulled from Russia. But to bring it to like, in my opinion, like the micro level of like, hey, we're going to release this figure everywhere but Russia because of this, I think is really strange. And I think it'll be interesting to see how strong the Exo 6 morals are if and when China joins the conflict, because they're already like, pretty much Russia's best friend at the moment. So if arguably the biggest 1/6 scale market joins that conflict, I would be shocked if X06 stopped shipping all 1/6 scale figures to China. But it's such a weird thing. Like I enjoy collecting to kind of get away from the real world, and to have it brought into this space is just like, I wouldn't say it's uncomfortable, but it's definitely weird, and it kind of like took me back a bit. Dean, what do you think about this release, or even just the concept of a company holding back something for these kind of real world reasons?
Oh my! I really like this figure. Sulu is one of the most iconic sci-fi characters ever. That original crew is right up there with the best of the best. And I think it's a solid figure. The likeness is spot on. I think you're right. It's like, hey, look at this figure. You're not getting it, Russia, unless you stop invading people. It's like, what a weird kind of bargaining chip. Like Putin's gonna care about Sulu. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of like,
maybe
do you
he's
really
his biggest
need
fan. We don't know though, right?
That's true. Maybe they know something we don't. But it does seem like an odd kind of inclusion. I think you're right. I think it overshadows, the figure in a bit. But I mean, they could do whatever they want, I guess. Doesn't affect me none. Yeah, solid figure. I'm excited to see, X06 stuff in hands, because I think all we've gotten so far is teasers, Ben? Or some of them out already?
They've had a couple of releases so far, and most of them have been pretty solid.
Okay, cool.
But this is one of the better likenesses that I've seen, I think.
Yeah.
Like, this one looks real spot on. I compared him to a real life photo of like Sulu from the show, and even the hairstyle was bang on. It was crazy.
Nice. Yeah. I think it's I'm not like John. I'd love to see it. I'm not the biggest Star Trek fan in the world. My dad is. So we grew up, butting heads over Star Trek and Star Wars, but people are really passionate about Star Trek, man. I mean, arguably are the ones who started like the whole convention things and the real like passionate fans. So I think it's really cool to see. So I like it.
To get the exact quote here, we at X06 are closely monitoring the tragic situation in Ukraine and stand alongside all those severely affected by the war. At the time, we will not be releasing to those who reside in Russia. It's just like, damn well if China was in this war, they'd still be shipping shit to China.
Well, also, it's like, there's some people who just fucking live there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want us to be invading people. Like, why the fuck are you punishing me? But maybe I don't know. It's just odd because
it's weird, bro.
It is penalizing the everyday person who just wants to collect some toys.
Dude, I want to penalize you, bro.
Dude, the way you said penalize made my penalize tingle.
What are you talking about? They're following the suit of like the major corporations that are doing it. The Visas, the McDonald's, the Starbucks.
You're not wrong.
But the amount of X06 sales aren't going to affect the economy.
Yeah, but it's not that. It's not that. Listen, it's not that. It's the principle. They have an image that they're looking to maintain. It's the image.
It's the image.
What is there? 5 people in Russia buying X06, especially Star Trek figures? It's not that. It's the image of the company that the company's maintaining.
But they could have said nothing, and nobody would have asked.
I think I would be very curious to see, like I said, if the biggest 1/6 scale market joined the conflict, if they would stand by.
China won't join the conflict.
I mean, they're
in neutral ground right now. They're not gonna. Are you kidding?
Oh, dude! But I'm just saying. Then I would tip my hat to them. But at this point, like I said, Russia, I don't think it's like a huge 1/6 scale market.
Yeah. Well, of course. It's more for the eyes than anything else for the media.
I just can't see somebody sitting at their computer being like, "Man, I really want the Sulu, but
dude, they're like looking at the convention and shit."
I want to know their stance on Russia because they're more worried. Minnesota Russians, I don't want this.
They're more worried. How am I going to pay for Zulu if I don't have my visa working?
Exactly.
They're more worried about where am I going to fucking eat, or like. am I gonna have to fucking join a conflict I want no part in? I don't think they're worried about if they're gonna order soon.
Ukrainian sales half off. DJ says it's
sorry.
a useless gesture that only affects regular people when companies do this, and regular collectors in this case go after the oligarchs and the people in power, not the regular citizens.
Well, that's past that point. It's time to move in. We're not gonna get all political here. I don't know anything about like how history this and that works and the laws and stuff. I know how morals work and humanity. And when you strip everything away, rules, this and that, there's kids, there's mothers, there's fathers dying. And everyone's just sitting back and watching. Yeah, you're sending supplies. It's not enough. And I get it. I'm going to get shafted for saying this. But God have mercy. There's people losing their lives there. Just take care of this already. This has been going on way too long.
Damn right. Bro, there was so many interesting political things with that this week. Rand Paul, I think, made one of the greatest stances.
Do you know what gas prices are here?
Oh, it's expensive here too, bro.
$2.03 a liter,
bro.
A liter.
Yeah, hate to see.
I've never seen that in my life.
Let's get to the meat and potatoes. Queen Studios
I'll be back.
dropped their The Fellowship of the Ring.
Are you trying to shop for me?
What?
Alexa's like, are you trying to buy Queen Studios product?
Dude, wow, what was that? She's like, are you on meat and potatoes? Like, Jesus Christ.
She's like, stop
Queen
talking
Studios.
about Putin.
We will not ship to Putin. Queen Studios dropped their Gandalf. I guess this is the pre-production photos. We haven't actually officially gone up for order yet that I know of. Though, Marco, I think the price point did leak, and the conversion, before shipping, before any markups, was about $442, which is right about that $500 price point that I was thinking it would be. And I gotta say, this thing looks pretty solid. And I don't want to really rehash a lot of what we said last week, because I think a lot of my opinions there are still valid, and I really don't want to derail this. But focusing on this as its own thing, I gotta say, there are some things that I'm like shocked and thrilled that they're doing. You get the moth that summons the great eagle. You get some really, really fine clothing work, which, I said a few weeks ago that I think this is going to be a figure as good as this will come out if it looks like this, that you are going to have to do some futzing, I think, just because it's so much fabric, and unless they put wires throughout the entire thing, it's just not going to lay that well out of the box. But this looks really good. Now, some things I want to highlight, and I'm going to, hold the floor for a few minutes here. You get magnetic hands, which is just an incredibly smart move here, because typically, I mentioned it last week, he wears the hand wraps, kind of mid palm, and it's very difficult to articulate the wrists on the Asmus versions. You constantly have basically the hands falling out, and they're kind of just held in place by the clothing. So having those on magnets, I think, is super smart. The base itself does not feature a crotch grabber. It's a magnetic connection that attaches the figure to the base. And I think, seeing the sculpt with the eyes tilted, with statues and different collectibles, I think there's certain angles that really show off the portrait. And I think that like 3/4 angle with the eyes in one direction, I think is really, really solid. And that's, Hot Toys struggles with that too. I think sometimes there's straight on that might not look as well as 3/4 or side portrait, etc. I still think a lot of the things that Dean said last week, with the beard, I think that could maybe be worked on a bit. And there's some things that I wanted to highlight, but overall, I think the hair and the beard, the hair in particular looks fantastic. The drape work of the cloak and the hat, I think the hat was the weakest part of both Asmus versions, and I think they got this hat pretty much dead to rights. Like, it's a weird hat the way it's constructed and the way that it kind of has its own sort of shape to it, but I think they got this absolutely perfect. And this is kind of what you get. So you get the Gandalf, you get the pipe staff, a magnetic base, the moth, you get 8 hands, the letter, which contains the ring. You also get the ring, which I think it's interesting that it's included. I understand why they're including it, but Gandalf actually never interacts with the ring, if I remember correctly. You get Glamdring. You get the pipe, which has a little bit of a display feature where you can put the pipe into the letter. It's the wax seal on the letter. You get the book from Balin's tomb. You get Gandalf's messenger bag. And then you also get, as mentioned, the hat. I think there are some very small complaints that I have about this figure, though. And I think the most obvious is the fact that you only get one staff. In the film, Gandalf has the staff that he has in the opening of the film. So it's from the first time you see him up until he gets captured at Isengard. And then when you see him next in Rivendell, he's given the, it's called the Moria staff. And it's a totally different shape. It has the crystal embedded in it during the Mines of Moria tour. And so the fact that you're not getting that staff, to me is like, I'm not going to say it's a deal breaker because it's really not. But it's a weird exclusion when they're giving you things like the butterfly and the letter. I just think it's kind of a very obvious miss. And I did message John kind of the list of things that I'm going to go through today in hopes that they can add these and correct them for the physical release. On Glamdring, I think it's really great that they got the blue gem on the hilt. But if you look at the sword, they actually don't have any of the runes engraved on the hilt. The Asmus one did have that on the Crown Series version, and it's basically just some Elvish text that's missing from this, and it's something I think could be done fairly easily. But I think in order to get like a definitive Gandalf, you definitely need this on the sword. Other things that I think are kind of weird, if you look at the sword belt, the way they pressed in the diamonds on the belt, they're like off center, and it's, you know, it's a prototype, so I'm sure they'll fix that on the final release, but I do hope that they do, because it just kind of looks a little sloppy on the belt. And they also, I believe, should be infilled with white on the sideshow, the Asmus, and on the United Cutlery they're filled in with white paint, so I hope they can fix that in the future. And then the pants, we don't actually see the pants in any of the photos that they have, but the pants should have a little bit of a decoration on the bottom. And it's something that, like, you know, both Asmus have the there's like a $20, you know, like 12-inch figure from like 10 years ago that had it. I'm sure the Asmus, yeah, Toy Biz, thank you. I'm sure the Asmus does have it, but I'm just kind of putting it out there for Queen Studios and John to make sure that it does, because, you know, I think it's something that will really take this to the next level with how great all the cloth that they have looks. I think the traveling cloak is fantastic. I know a lot of people have been complaining that it's too brown, and that the actual wizard robes themselves are too brown, but to be honest, I think from the camera costume test that they've shown behind the scenes footage of, and then the actual like high quality behind the scenes footage, I think it looks fine. Obviously, when a film gets released, they color grade it a little differently than what's actually physically there. And that's kind of why you get into things like the Han Solo, you know, blue versus brown jacket, or the Michael Myers, you know, green versus gray versus blue overalls. So I have zero complaints, and I would even give Queen major props for getting the hat right, because the hat is a very slightly different color than the robes. In the film, for the most part, it looks fairly similar, but actually looking at the props, they are like, the hat has just like a tint of blue in it, and it's just ever so subtly done. Also on the hands, I think they did a really good job with the hands, because if you look at, they have a photo of the wax seal. They have just like the hands floating in space, but the hands have like dirt in the nails, which I think is really neat. They just put like a brown wash in it. To me, it takes it to the next level, because that's one thing that I think the Asmus one is definitely missing. But yeah, I have a ton of great things to say about this. I think the price is what I was expecting. I just think that when people get it, they're going to have to do a little bit of futzing to get it to look as good as they have it. And I definitely, like, for sure, like, I could live with not having the runes on the sword, or, you know, a few smaller things that I mentioned. But if you're missing the Moria staff, I'm not going to say this won't be the best Gandalf, but it's definitely not going to be the most complete Gandalf out there.
Yeah, I know you just listed off a whole bunch of stuff, but I think at this price point, all that stuff matters. when you come out swinging, hey, we're going to be the best on the block, I think you need to deliver the best on the block. So all those little nitpicks, and like you said, it's a prototype, so it should get fixed, later on. But I think you're right. Arguably, will be the best Gandalf, but it's definitely lacking in some areas. The moth is an insane inclusion I was not expecting. Really cool. The little envelope with the ring, that's crazy cool. Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. I think they definitely futz the beard enough that it doesn't look as patchy as before. I like it. The hair, stunning. Just the drape of the clothing is insanely well done. I'm super excited for this, so I think I have been converted.
John?
I think Zach said some good points there. The only thing that I have to say on top of what I said last week is, if you're a Gandalf fan, in my opinion, this is the Gandalf at the top and the one you need to get. The price, I think the price is a lot lower than what people were expecting. I think the price is very fair. We're looking at $440 US, roughly. Maybe a little bit more without shipping.
Before shipping and before markup. I think that's the retail price. But I think because we're in the US, we'd have to pay a little bit of a premium.
Depending on where you get it from. Some people include shipping 500. Everyone on the blog saying 500, regardless.
That's probably what we should expect for the rooted figures moving forward too, right? About that price point.
Yeah, I mean, and I think the price, John, is perfectly fair. Like I was saying, this could be as much as $650, $750, and
you're paying $315 for that. How much was that? Strange, $340.
$335.
$335 before shipping for that Strange. And well, again, we don't have this in hand yet, but geez, if it looks anything close to this, the comparison is crazy. So I love to see it. Queen's priced fairly with their statues. I like to see them passing on that savings. And people may say you're crazy when I say savings, but passing on that at least. Look, they could have very easily slapped $7.99 on this, whether people would have ordered it or not. But with the materials being used and with the $7.99 shipped and all that, with the materials being used and the rooted feature, I think they're trying to help us as much as they can. And I'm not a Queen advocate. I just like to praise good work when I just like to praise good work when I see it. And I'm just dying to hear Marco's comment, because it seems like my standards are right where they need to be. So I'm dying to hear his comment.
So let me clarify a bit of last week. Number one, to John and to Eddie. I'm
gain up just a touch.
Just put it up. We got to hear this.
Hold on. Let's go. Let's see. Gain up a bit. Test. How's that sound?
By the way, I love the spirited discussion we had last week.
Hold on. I'm getting the clip.
God,
the
let's
clip
not
ready.
rip each other up today.
So to John and Eddie, I was wrong. But let me tell you, there's new information now. But I was wrong, because I said a few things. Number one, that your standards were too low. That wasn't fair. It wasn't fair, because you guys, have high standards when it comes to a lot of collectibles. So that was a passionate thing said, and so apologies for that. Number two, that I said that Queen wasn't ready to play ball yet, right? I was saying that the prototype needed to be put on ice because it wasn't quite ready. With these images that I'm seeing here, this is stellar. Like, this looks great. So let me talk about the figure, and then I want to just talk about the marketing really quick, because that's really where my negative feelings were coming from. So the figure itself looks great. Like, this sculpt, bang. I wouldn't say it's like 100% just yet, but it looks like a phenomenal likeness, and really looks great from the tailoring to the accessories. Even the price point, I think that's about what we can expect for Queen or for InArt moving forward for their rooted figures. So even that seems like attainable, to the point where this isn't a character that I feel like I need to add to the collection, but it's at that price point where it makes me think, right? Like, maybe this is one that I could add. Now let me talk about their marketing for a second, because let me juxtapose what they did with the Joker versus what they did with this guy. So what they did with the Joker is they released some, high quality professional images and got us all speaking, speculating, hyped up. And then they kind of rolled out, the larger picture set, again, really high-res images. The figure looked great in both sets, and then they rolled out the price, up until the window incident, right? Here, they, and they're trying to find their groove, right? But they did something really odd in terms of, at first they teased with the silhouette that was actually the actor, and then they showed renderings, and then the images that they showed initially, they didn't give us enough, number one, right, to really because sometimes with these sculpts, you need to see multiple angles to really make a call. And it was not necessarily super high res or super professional. So they didn't put their best foot forward. And so, as I mentioned before with Hot Toys, the burden of proof is on these companies to prove to me that they deserve my dollars, right? And I'm that same way with Hot Toys. There's so much coming out right now that I really need to be selective with my dollars. So I will look for any little nitpick for a reason not to give a company my money. So when they're not coming out, especially when they're trying to break into a new market, this is the second figure that they're really showing, I would think that they want to put their best foot forward. So hopefully they're listening for the future. Start with these images, or at least one or two of these. Come out with the high-res stuff. Get us talking, as opposed to, us taking snips from a YouTube video where someone had it on the counter, and it just seemed like a bit of a not smooth rollout for a time when they're trying to wow us. So that's where my negative feelings were coming from. But in terms of how I feel now on this figure, really like it. I hope, a lot of members of the community end up getting it. So I'm either, persuaded to after I see it, or I'm not quite sure how, large the window is going to be, but it's definitely one that I could consider. So Sean, hopefully that clears it up, but go ahead with you if you have a response.
It's a month apparently from May 18th, I think, to June 18th. They're keeping orders open. That's again through Prime, not Prime, through Queen. Of course, the resellers, if they have stock, I'm sure they'll still be able to sell. We learned our lesson there.
Yeah, we did learn our lesson, right? So this maybe is not one that you need to actually, get worked up and, not lose sleep over like I did with the Joker. But yeah, again, I think I've said enough on this, but I think it looks great now.
Yeah, you guys crushed all of those points, and I am excited to hear from Fern as well on this quick. But I would say for me, I am not as big of a Lord of the Rings fan as some folks. So when I look at this, I think the likeness is really, really good. It does look like he's got a little bit more of the droopy eye thing going than those first images we saw last week. So that honestly makes it look a little bit more like the actor to me. I do think that the beard looks a little on the fuzzy side, but hopefully that's just either, maybe there's this image, or we'll just take a little bit of futzing once you get it out of the box. I think that's okay. I think the price is pretty solid. I know that there's been this great debate of if Queen's going to come in, the pricing has to be good, and that's how I feel about it. I wouldn't make the switch over to Queen Studios exclusively unless they bring their pricing a little bit more in line with Hot Toys. Because I still otherwise like Hot Toys quality. So, I'm okay with that. But I do really like the figure otherwise. And I think it's amazing that there are, super fans like Zach who can look at this figure and see so many tweaks, and that we are able to still get that line of communication to the company itself and actually ask them to take a look at it. And if they do, that, to me, does justify the price of this guy, because we know as collectors we're going to hopefully have in our collection exactly what we're looking for. So I like him. At this point, it is still going to be a wait and see. I'm not going to probably pull the trigger on any more Queen Studios figures until we at least get one in hand from InArt to know truly what the quality is versus their prototypes. But I would say, I don't think it's appropriate to say, if it's anywhere close to this, I'd be happy, because I wouldn't be. If for $500 plus, Canadian wise anyways, it would have to be pretty damn bang on to this for me to be happy. If it was anything less than that and I paid that kind of money, I wouldn't be happy, truthfully.
That's a good point.
But yeah, that's I'd say my take. What do you think, Fern?
Who's the main character from Lord of the Rings?
I don't know, but you just blew my eardrums.
Jesus, Fern.
Sorry.
He's over there sharing memes on Facebook. Fucking. I mean, there's many main characters. I mean, Frodo, Gandalf. I mean,
isn't Frodo?
He's one of the most main characters of the
I don't think I've ever seen a figure. Is there even a figure for him?
It's
for Gandalf or Frodo?
It's like
No,
Star
for
Wars.
Frodo.
There's no real one main character.
Yeah, there's a sideshow. There's an Asmus. There's Toy Biz. Have you seen Lord of the Rings?
What does that have to do with this figure?
Yeah, what the fuck? You're not paying attention. Then you ask who's the main character.
I am paying attention.
Those memes say otherwise.
I mean, I don't even like Lord of the Rings, but this looks really good. And it makes me kind of want to get it. Makes me kind of want to watch the movies, to be honest.
Let's fucking go, Fern. Let's fucking go. I am very excited if you watch it, Fern. It's definitely, I think, one of the best book to movie adaptations I think ever. Just going down.
I'm gonna need that special cut.
There you go. Going down the line, if this does not come with the Moria staff, is that a deal breaker? What do you think, Dean?
I don't think it's a deal breaker, especially because now you have options to just buy them on the secondary market. You know,
yeah,
people parting it out or whatever, or just finding one. It does seem like a really odd exclusion.
Yeah,
but I mean, most of the accessories are, from the opening of the movie. So like, I get it. But yeah, it's definitely weird.
Well, ish. I wouldn't say they're all from the opening. Glamdering is only seen.
I didn't say they were all.
And the moth.
I said most, fool.
Well, some, and then the book. I mean, that's like half. I wouldn't even say most.
When does he see the book? Is that the one
in Balin's tomb?
When
they're in the Mines of Moria. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's definitely odd.
It's weird because like he's never like in the beginning Glamdering is in the cart. Like he never rocks the sword and the hilt until he has that second staff.
Does the Asmus come with the second staff?
It does.
Then there you go. So you have the Asmus one. You just pick this up and you got your staff. There you go.
I mean, you're not wrong, but I mean, also, I think
2 staffs
for those.
Not needed. If you're getting a staff, if you didn't give us a staff, okay, you got the one staff. I don't know. I'm not a big. Yeah, I'm not a big Lord of the Rings. Like I'm not in depth.
It would be like the equivalent of Darth Vader having the wrong lightsaber and. Like,
but I appreciate the staff with the pipe in there. You just need the little crystal on top, no? Is that not what it is?
No, it's a
totally different. Okay, that I don't know. So hopefully they take that feedback. I don't think it's a deal breaker.
I will say, kind of like what you went back last week, John. You were like, you shouldn't have to futz the thing out of the box. That's why the Asmus one is so bad. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, but you also shouldn't have to go buy other figures.
100%, I agree with you.
Make up for
100%. I just, for me personally, as a collector, like my involvement with Lord of the Rings, I don't think it's that big of. Like for me, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah,
it's kind of like one of those if you know, you know. But I think enough people know that it's wrong. Like, I mean, can you imagine if they gave us a light up fucking staff? I mean, that shit would be bonkers. That would blow my fucking mind. S Beam with the $10 super chat. Thank you so much for the support. This Gandalf's face sculpt doesn't work for me. The tailoring is awesome, and the accessories are just meh. I'll stick with my Crown series. If they make Gandalf the White, I'm all in. Hashtag Pose Wars fam. What a sweet.
That's one thing I don't get. Like I've even seen the community, and I everyone's entitled to their sort of opinion, but the comparison, I don't even think it's like I've compared it, but I just want to stop because I don't even know what words to say when you see people comparing.
I think they set the bar so high too with that Joker because it looked so much like Heath. Like you thought it was real based on the pictures.
Yeah.
This one would just had a bit of the uncanny valley where it gave you pause. Like, oh, it's a figure. With the Heath, it was like, damn.
One thing,
you know where I wish this. Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say one thing. I wish this where they could have worked on the base.
I actually really like it because the Asmus one. It has so much shit on it that by the time you fucking put you have the glued in fucking fish tanks, fucking things,
the fake,
and then you add the fence and the mail. By the time you put the motherfucking figure on there's no space. I actually appreciate the simplicity. I think in this case, less is more. But I did want to go back just briefly. I think the paintwork on this portrait is insane.
Oh, that's what kills it.
I don't know what you call them, sunspots or whatever.
Yeah. The texturing
really
and the
next level. And And if this is the quality we're gonna get as far as the distance of the skin to the eye, I think this is perfect.
And if we don't, even with the Joker, I'll run them through the mill. That's for sure. I'll run them through. Trust me.
Yeah. They got that has to look just like the prototype.
Yeah. Well, within reason.
And
but
then
it has
there's
to.
always a drop off.
Of course, there's always a drop off, but it has to be like. I'm telling you, right? Like it has to be up. I don't want to see no.
$1,100 it better be.
I don't want to see no Hot Toys bull. I'll cancel. It'll be straight like that. I won't buy it. But I don't want to see no Hot Toys bull where you get the prototype and you get the one in hand and it's like, what the hell is this?
Ben mentioned it, and I don't know how accurate this is, but to me the portrait does look a little bit better in the corner of the eyes. I mentioned that they weren't droopy enough, but I think. I'm glad to see that you can get the hands into the hand wraps. It's not really a hand wrap. It's like a sweater with a hole for the thumb. I'm glad to see that. And then also this stitching on the left arm here, which was really poorly done on the prototype, looks as expected. And I think what I was mentioning last week was that the traveling cloak is what should have that worn, weathered edge, and they have it pretty much down pat here on the prototype. So I'm very excited for this. I think the colors, the drape, the portrait, I think all together it looks really solid. I personally have an extra Moria staff, so I'm not particularly bothered by it, but I think for the price point, I would like to see Queen make that staff, and maybe
all those
even
fixes.
Did they say if the base was magnetic?
It is.
It is awesome. I'm just not a fan of that.
The hands are magnetic also.
I just wish they did better with the base. Even if they gave us like a tree or something, like a stump or something more to the. I don't know. Maybe I'm talking out of my head.
The fact that the base is reminiscent of the Moria,
it annoys me that it.
It doesn't have the staff. I do have a question about the magnetic hands.
Yes.
Because magnets don't. I feel like they don't have like opposing option. Yeah. They always go back to the neutral position, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure how that's gonna work.
The magnet on the hinge, or I don't. That seems weird to me.
It's
a cool way of doing hands. You're not gonna break fucking pegs and shit, but
it's a great way to do it because, like I said, when you articulate, either Asmus version, peg direction, and just it's a nightmare. I really dislike changing the hands out. It's not fun, to be honest.
Die-cast sword too, I think, right?
I imagine so. I'll be honest, I didn't read the description.
I think it'll be for sure.
I know they said it had underwear, which I thought a lot of people were joking about, which was kind of funny. But let's move on. I think we've beat this horse dead, and I'll send this to John, and hopefully they can kind of hear some of our feedback and maybe make some changes to the final product. Released this week, we had the Jango Fett, which I think the figure itself looks fine, but there's something about the portrait that I just don't like. And I went back and watched the scene again, and he certainly is, a little younger, but I don't know, man. He just looks like way too young, like maybe 10 years too young from what he looked like in episode 2. We had some collectors share some in-hand photos, and with how good the Cody and the Rex portraits were, to me, this seems like a miss. And I know a lot of people were saying that as well. Some people were calling it, Dean, you said it was Juango Fett, which I thought was absolutely incredible. And I really don't understand how they absolutely blew Cody and Rex out of the water and then are going to give us this portrait when they already had it like shrink ray. It blows my mind.
Yeah, this is it looks like they could be cousins. Like I see him, but also not. Like, okay, like you're definitely related. You're in the same family, but yeah, I'm with you, Zach. I don't know how they dropped the ball. Not hard. It's not like a really like maybe they recovered the ball, but they still fumbled it. You know what I mean? It's not the worst thing I've ever seen, but it's like you said, it's like, how do you nail that sculpt and then take steps backwards? It seems odd. Because really it was what, a year, maybe 2 between episode 2 and 3. So it's like, he didn't age that much. If you want to compare, the Rex sculpt to Boba Fett, sure. You know, you got some years between, you know, episodes 3 and Return of the Jedi or Book of Boba. But from episode 2 to 3, it's such an insignificant amount of time that he wasn't this much younger. So it's super odd to me. But like I said, it's not the worst. If you get this figure, you're not going to be all, you know, super upset. But why? He's going to have the helmet on, right? Why?
No, sorry. You can't justify this when you just, not you, but when people are, no, I'm not talking to you directly. I'm saying in general.
Yeah, go ahead.
People just call out, oh, well, we don't have the Morris staff. But you're agreeing with that. Oh, I'll still pick this up because, oh, well, it's not the worst. I'll have the helmet on.
Not I.
You're going to pick this up. Congratulations. And you don't have to keep the helmet on. But the only person you're doing by picking this up is fooling yourself because you're paying for this portrait. So you pay for this portrait. Sure, you're going to keep it in the box. But then when they do the next portrait and it's half-assed as well, and you're going to complain, it's just a vicious circle. Right. Bo-Katan was like that. This is like that. And don't get me wrong, they do some stellar pieces of work. That what's that one? Boba Fett from Mando 2? Holy mac. I think a portrait of the year, to be honest. And same with the Cody that they did. You can't be giving us that level of work and then putting this out. Unacceptable.
I still think it looks like George W. Bush when he was younger. And I got a lot of shit when I said that like a year ago. But
fool me once.
Yeah, I'm not picking this up.
It might be the size of the head though, too, right? Like it's very round,
very
compared
bulbous
to the Cody. Yeah, so
yeah,
that
from
might
like
be
the ears up is very.
Because the features aren't necessarily off, but like the shape is just messed up. I guess let me just give my thought. Oh, sorry, Ben. Why don't
I was just gonna say is while you talk, Marco, can you highlight Doc Smizzle's comment there, because I think that might be a valid point to it as well. That's the next one. Sorry, not that one, buddy, but the.
I like the appreciation.
Typed so much. The Jian Sun Yan did the Jango Fett head sculpt, is what he said above. I don't know how to say his name properly, but it sounds like it's a different artist that did the original versus this one, right? And so I think that makes a big difference. But go ahead, Marco. Sorry to cut you off, buddy.
Not on the price, though.
That's the thing. And this was like an older prototype, right? Like this figure they had teased for a while, and it seems like they haven't really made too many changes to the sculpt. I need to see side by side from the proto to the final, but if it wasn't for the Mandalorian, you know, an all silver Mandalorian armor would just look awesome, right, on the display. So for that reason alone, this figure is cool. But the issues with the sculpt, you know, there's like just some sizing issues with the armor that I've seen. Again, I'm always looking for like nitpicks, excuses not to get a figure, right? Like, they've got to earn my money here. And the fact that I'm not like a huge fan of the prequels, this one is feeling like either a wait and see or a pass for me, because it just doesn't feel like the strongest release, and there's just too much coming out right now. So the Mandalorian armor is really awesome, and it looks like the details in that are all great, but yeah, just because of there being some imperfections and me not being absolutely in love with the source material, it feels like I can pass.
I just see one of our chat members have changed their name to Jango Fett, so that's amazing.
Wow, that was fast.
That was really
Jesus.
fast.
It's Wango Fett, not Joango. What the
Jesus.
What the
You really are
fuck,
kidding.
It's true.
Don't penalize him, bro. Don't penalize him.
I'm sorry. I don't like this head sculpt at all, truthfully. You know, I know that there are a lot of folks who are really excited for this guy to come out, so I feel bad even admitting it, but I guess real talk is the way to go, and honestly, I wouldn't. I would not get this figure, especially because of this head sculpt. I don't think that it is an accurate representation of what the character looked like in films. And for how good some of these other Codys, or like Codys or some of the, well, just essentially the other head sculpts, how good they look, I just don't think that this is on par. So, what did we get a price on this, or is there a do your homework meme? But I don't know if we called out a price.
It's $250, but I mean this is a release.
It's a while ago.
Cover prices on releases,
so it's beforehand. Yeah, that's fair. $250 might be the only saving grace, honestly, because I would keep the helmet on 100% if I got this guy.
Definitely
$250.
Now Moff Gideon was released also. I've seen a lot of complaints about this portrait. I'll be honest, I don't really care about this character or this portrait. So I don't have the eye for this like I do for other characters. But I think the armor looks excellent. I think one of my big positives about it was you can have a character wearing all black, but having that mixed, gloss and matte and satin, kind of all together with the fabric, I think it looks excellent. I've seen some people Photoshop what they think the portrait should look like, and in my opinion, it looks much worse. So I guess whether you think it's great or not, I think it's really up to you. But this one did come out also, and I think it looks great in my opinion.
The picture on the left, he looks a little like sweaty. Like he looks real glossy in the head sculpt.
He's kind of a shiny guy, though. If I'm being
Is
honest.
he?
In Better Call Saul, they have a lot of shots of him shining, but
I don't know, bro. People really have a problem with this head sculpt. I thought they nailed it, honestly. Maybe
Dean, this is one of those tricky ones, though, where in certain shots it looks really good, like it looks like him, and then certain ones it looks off. And you could attribute it to lighting or angle. It's hard to say, but it's still kind of all over the map in terms of the pictures we've seen so far.
Oh, yeah. I guess maybe I'm with Zach. Maybe I don't have the eye for this guy, but I thought it looked really good. I still wouldn't get it, but I just got the Black Series, and even that, I was like, do I really want this? I just don't like the character that much.
I think
I thought it looked good.
I think market-wise, this is the best Gideon we've gotten. I know Sideshow put out their premium format, but that portrait was horrendous. So I think this would take the place nicely. I don't mind this at all. I do wish they gave us the nice little touch would have been like the TIE pilot, not the TIE pilot. What do you call it? TIE fighter. You know how they gave you the base with this Sideshow statue. I would have liked them to give us a nice little intricate base that way. But from what we're getting out of the box, cape's fine. Portrait, I'm happy with the portrait. I think the outfit looks great. I think this is, if you're still completing your Mando display, yeah, I'd pick this out. I just look how long we're waiting to get this. I don't know. I think it's way too long. But besides that, I think it looks great.
Nicolio says the photographer didn't wear gloves.
You hate to see it.
Damn it, will you? You hate to see it. John, it is the time for the sponsor that keeps the show going. Tell us about them.
Yes. 1/6 Corner. Their mission is to provide the best figures and collectibles to their customers. They offer great prices, great packaging, fast shipping, and best in the business customer service. Collecting Weekly listeners get 10% off in-stock figures while our show is live. All you have to do is use code capital C, capital W10. You choose your figures, pay safely with PayPal, and you leave the rest to them. You're on mute.
Damn it. Our topic for tonight is constructive criticism. Thank you, John.
Mm-hmm.
And specifically, I think last week we got a little bit of flack for some of the panel, at least, for some of our thoughts on the Gandalf, or just in general. I know we had some comments on the 60 Seconds with John as well. And I think it's important to talk about constructive criticism, and, I think our show's a bit different than a lot of shows out there. I think, and we've always been this way, for better or for worse. But I think there's a lot of shows out there that are going to be very positive about anything, regardless of the quality, regardless of the things that it could have been done better, the decrease from a proto to a final, or what have you. But at Collecting Weekly, I think we really strive to give an honest take that we truly believe. Like, I don't think any of us have ever censored our opinions, regardless of how unpopular or popular they were. And, at the end of the day, I want every collector that spends their hard-earned money on a figure to get what they ordered in a timely fashion as advertised. And sometimes, we do shit on companies. I remember when we first started, we kind of got some flack for how hard we were on Molecule 8. And every time a little nugget of news came out, we were just down their throats on it. And because I really felt, and Dean as well, felt that the writing was on the wall. This company was not going to deliver the product they were offering, and a lot of people would be out of a lot of money. And, it came to pass, and we were right. So I think constructive criticism and not being 100% positive is a very good thing for this hobby, especially when you have companies like Queen that are willing to hear that constructive criticism and to attempt to, not in every case, because in some cases, products have gone into production, it's too late to make changes. But as much as possible, I think it's definitely a great thing that we have a company producing high-end collectibles for statue collectors and 1/6 scale collectors that are willing to listen to constructive criticism from collectors. And I'm curious what you guys think about this. We don't usually get like a ton of comments, but I think this week and last week it was like we had get quite a bit of like people saying that we had we complained quite a bit, or it was like an overly negative show. But I think it's because we're passionate, because we truly care about these collectibles and these figures and these characters, and we really want to be able to share that opinion. Sam says you guys are a couple of comp figures away from being bought. Let's be honest, bro.
How dare you?
You are 100% honest, bro. If Queen sends me a Gandalf, Queen, if you're listening, holla at your boy.
I will praise.
Wait, Queen's gonna send you a Gandalf? Are you nuts?
Can you?
How dare you?
How dare you, John? How dare you? So I'm curious, Dean. You've been here for a very long time. We've given many positive, many negative opinions, and a lot of constructive criticism over the years. What role does constructive criticism? And I'm not saying like you're going to go out there and just shit on something and not provide an actual intelligible thought.
Right.
What's the difference there, and how do you feel that it's a good thing for this community?
Yeah. I was talking about this the other day. There's a difference between jumping on the Gandalf post and saying, hey, this figure can use some paint apps on the belt. It's missing the runes on the sword. It should include the staff, and leaving it at that. And then there's a whole other thing, jumping on the post and like, this is fucking garbage. Like you're fucking ripping us off. Like that's absolutely, there's no place for that. And yeah, being able to have a discussion and, cause this is your money, right? These companies are offering you a product that you want, and it's your money. And if you're not happy, you should be allowed to say something. I know a lot of people are like, oh, you're just entitled. Like, you should be happy you're getting this figure anyway. But it's like, okay, but they need to earn my money. Like, if it's not what I'm expecting for the price, like I said, like the Black Series Boba, it's a $30 figure. I think you get, could it be better? Absolutely. But for the price point, you're getting a banger figure. Now, if it was a $60 figure, I would expect things to be a little different. And you should be able to voice that opinion. Like the thing with the Queen Gandalf. Those little issues need to be fixed if I'm, going to be paying $450, $500. Like, that should absolutely come out of the box exactly the way you expect it. And if it's not in the prototype and you don't voice that opinion, you have no one to blame but yourself. So offering the criticism of like, hey, this needs to be fixed, do it respectfully. And there's no problem with that at all. It's your money. They want your money. They need to earn it. So jumping down someone's throat, maybe we're guilty of it sometimes. But that is also, good conversation and we have fun doing it. But we're also not targeting, people. Like, it'd be very easy to message John from Queens and fucking attack him, but why would you do that? That's a shitty thing to do. So do it respectfully, have fun, because that's what we're all here for, right? It's having fun. So
real quick before we continue, I got a few messages that Queen dropped but it's the statue that they dropped.
It is the statue,
the Dark Knight Joker 1/4.
That's why I thought it was originally the statue, and then in the comments they're saying it's the figure. It's the statue, yeah. No, it says it's the statue. You're right.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that we weren't missing anything. Sorry about that. John, do you want to continue with
the
discussion?
Yeah, guys. I don't know. This is an iffy topic for me because I'll speak to myself. I've always been very passionate And I know that my opinions are like maybe bottom of the barrel, and not a lot of people necessarily agree with me. But when I give an opinion, you're going to get bare bones. I will never, ever, ever, ever sugarcoat a release or sugarcoat anything that I see. I try to rip it apart from top to bottom. And I get a lot of flack for it. My whole thing with the community is it's like, you guys got to understand that everybody and their mother is streaming. We're all watching the same news, same figures, same statues. If we all sit in a chair and just praise, what kind of fun, what show are we going to have?
It's called a circle jerk, and it could be fun.
We got 6 panel members here. If we all just sat here and said, yeah, yes, man. Oh my God, yes. Please, pre-order, yes. And didn't give our own personal opinions, how much fun would that be? It wouldn't be a show. What would be the point of streaming? I've always been the one, hey, you're going to give your opinion, just be respectful. Don't start calling people stupid and the R word here and dumb. And it's nice to get into banter. You shoot some shots and yeah, but respectfully. That's my sense.
I guess I'll hop in here hearing some silence. So I have a lot to say on what John said and what Dean said. Dean was talking about, kind of where things veer into hate speech and like targeting the artists. And that's this type of stuff that I always hate. It's just, we all have roles to play here on this panel, right? We're expressing our opinions, and you always do get our very raw opinions, but it is not targeted at a specific person, right? Maybe at a corporation or a company saying, hey, we want you to do better. This isn't up to the standards that we're setting, but it's never intended to be hateful. I will say, these figures or whatever collectible we're talking about are works of art, right? And it's subjective. So, one thing may look really great to somebody and may look like dog shit to somebody else. And that's fine. And if you want, someone to agree with all the time, I wouldn't understand why that would be the perspective you want. Sometimes you do want to be reassured that you're right. Like, oh, I want to get this figure. Let me hear someone say, actually, yeah, it is great. You should get it. Sometimes that's what you want, but sometimes you also need the opposite opinion. And so that's why it's really great to get a bunch of samplings. So folks that are, get upset with someone because they're offering a different opinion, I don't necessarily understand or agree with. But I could see how that could be kind of damaging to one's ego when you feel strongly about one thing and you hear someone saying the opposite.
Poor Zach.
Especially with stupid points.
The Django figure.
With stupid points, but that's fine though, and that's why it's all.
When you had that Django figure and we all shit on it.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Django Fett. I was like, no. I thought we all just universally roast. Bro, I literally threw that figure away like 10 minutes after I opened it, like in the literally in the dumpster, bro.
But damn, I'll tell you, as a streamer, you gotta have patience because there's some comments you read and hear, it's like, wow, how do you not rip this to shreds?
But I think there is a way to. Oh, go ahead, Zach.
If I could just maybe give a nugget here, John's 100% right. You do have to have patience because we do, get it pretty good. I know last week when I was talking about the Gandalf thing, a number of comments came in, and it's fine. But people also have to realize. It's almost like, Dean, when we were like in the middle of COVID, not that I think we're particularly out of COVID, but every week the science was going so fast that we were learning things, this is how it's transmitted and this is what you can do. And it wasn't a perfect science, right? Science was happening in real time, developing as new information came out, people were reacting and opinions were changing. That's how it is with us, right? We get a nugget of a photo of a figure and we're weekly shows, right? We have to talk about it. And the next week, maybe we get a little bit more. And the next week, a little bit more. And then we finally get the big reveal. And then it's about a year. Then we finally get the release. So, we're reacting to these things in real time as they happen with only as much information as anyone else has. Our takes might not always be the best, but they're genuine based on the information at the time.
100%.
Yeah, we always come back.
Fun? Oh, go ahead, Dean.
Oh, I was going to say, we always come back and say, hey, I was wrong. Or at least I'd like to think we do. Yeah. We have a clip for it. Like, oh, that was a hot take. Yeah, I was a hot take, and now I said it today about the Gandalf. Like, I'm a changed man.
But with more info, your opinion can evolve. And
exactly. You're entitled to change your opinion as new information becomes available. 100%.
Right.
Yeah, I
And
changed
there
my
was-
tune on the Queen Gandalf. I think seeing, you know, the full product now, I think it's much better than initially
You should just
thought.
listen to Jonathan a little bit more. That's all.
Well, I mean, a broken
Just
clock
have
is right.
faith. Have faith.
If the guy would raise his standards, then all right.
Oh.
we'll start that.
Jesus
Come
Christ,
on,
we got
got
World
past
War
Marco,
III.
my standards are so high, you couldn't even reach it with a stepping stool.
I would
Fuck.
say, John,
You know
I would
why
say
Marco
I-
doesn't like the Gandalf? Because Gigi said no. That's why she doesn't.
You're
He
not
asked her,
wrong,
she said
Jake.
no. And
That's why it's
Not
called the She
wrong.
Said No podcast.
That's it.
John, I've also seen the curb appeal of your home, and it looks great. So I know your standards are high.
What
But
does
I'm just
my
saying it's-
home have to do with
spotlights.
anything?
Yeah.
You can see it
It's a
from
beautiful
space.
place.
He's saying you have high standards.
Yeah, you
Do
have high
I? Oh,
standards.
okay, nice.
But I will just say, like, this is all supposed to be fun, right? And I know we sometimes lose sight of that, and you know, folks in the community can lose sight of that. But this is all fun banter. We enjoy doing this. And the moment that it becomes toxic, maybe we should step away for a second, you know. And I know I catch myself contributing to that toxicity. So if I'm there, I would appreciate being called out on it. But we're having fun
Yeah.
with it.
You're toxic.
And that's the
Marco.
great thing about having the live chat. We get to hear your guys' opinion too, and you could tell us, you know, when we're wrong or when we're right. And obviously, it feels a little better when you side with us. But you know, you guys got voices too. Bring them off in the
Make
comments.
sure it's the right
Let
voice,
us
because
know.
if it's not, it's,
I feel like some people watch these videos to get other people's opinion and then get mad when they don't hear what they want to hear. And it's like, you know, we don't sugarcoat shit. You know, it's like there's many people here that disagree and that agree, and we go back and forth. And I think that's the beauty of it. When in some other videos, they're just all, you know,
oh, I love
agreeing
it.
with everything. You know,
Beautiful.
hopping on the D, and it's just like, you know,
Confirmation bias, Fern. You're exactly
Yeah,
right.
it's just-
Like, people want to hear what they think back to them.
An
I feel
echo
like
chamber.
I feel like collecting weekly is like the wild, wild west. You never know what you're gonna hear and what you're gonna see. And it's
Someone
just
will
like-
just get randomly slam dunked on out of nowhere. It's fucking incredible.
Jesus.
Sam says, I always find the show as a whole helps me make a more educated purchase, and it is helpful at the end of the day. How much do I want that figure on my shelf? But you guys always help. Thank you, Sam, for the
I knew I
comments.
liked that Sam guy.
I love
There
Sam.
was a
What
time. There was a time not long ago that I was the only person I even knew that collected hot toys or collectibles like we all talk about week over week. And then I found these communities and these groups and these chats and Facebook groups and all the good stuff. And I found that it gave me people to talk to these things about and get excited with. And it wasn't very long before I saw some of the negativity. I do think that constructive criticism when it comes to figure quality and paint apps and cut and sew and all of the stuff makes a difference, and it does force companies to improve. What I hate seeing the most is when people try and squash other people's excitement. You can objectively think that a figure is bad for all of the reasons I just mentioned: paint, cut and sew, all of the things. But when you see the folks, you know, post a picture that they just received a collectible and they're really excited and like, hey guys, look what just showed up, and they're wanting a little bit of like, hey, nice job, man, nice purchase, and people are all over them with criticism of that figure specifically and making that person feel like their purchase was bad or was a dumb decision. That's really what that bothers me, I think. And so I find it difficult to sometimes be negative about anything I'm talking about in my own videos or on the channel here, because a lot of what I'm looking at, I just genuinely like. And the things that I'm reviewing or talking about that I like usually come off as pretty positive. But at the end of the day, it's not negative to provide criticism when it comes to certain things. It's just, I think, that the delivery that makes the biggest difference. And I think if our group can show that we can talk about challenges and things that we don't love, like, you know, John doesn't like talking about Star Trek, but he still is willing to hear me talk about it week over week, because there are people here that do care about it and are passionate about it. And one day I may convert John's opinion on Star Trek, right? Just the more I talk about it. But we'll see. We'll see. He's like, no.
The jury's
Hey,
still out
he's gotten me. Listen, he's gotten me to look on Facebook Marketplace for Star Trek stuff to send to him.
There
So
you go.
It's
There
a
you
step in
go.
the right direction.
That is a step in the right direction. But I think it is easy to be negative for the sake of being negative. It is harder to be constructive for the sake of being constructive. And I think that's really what we should try and focus on, just as a overall community. But when you hear us talking about how much we love certain things, it's legitimately because we do love it. And even in the backstage, sometimes we'll talk for 30 or 40 minutes after the show just about the cool shit that we love. And those are some of my favorite parts, the people in the community that talk about it, who get excited about these things. So I don't know where I was going with my point. I just love y'all, and thanks for listening to our negativity and or positivity all at the same time.
And can I give a recent example of something that, I really enjoy, which is The Departed, right? So I was really excited for everyone to watch. And, Zach and Dean didn't love it. And I was bummed that they didn't love it, but I was really intrigued to hear why they didn't, right? Like why it didn't resonate with them, why it didn't connect. And so at the end of the day, like, okay, we'll agree to disagree. It's a film that I really enjoy, but didn't connect with you. And that's totally fine. And it's cool to have that conversation.
100%. Now, on the flip side, though, there's things that you guys really enjoy that we haven't, like Training Day. Fucking banger film, bro. Sam says even just hearing a real discussion with multiple opinions on different sides should at least help someone know where they fall in the subjects. 6-scale separatist. I always form my own opinion and don't let others influence. That said, I find it interesting on how diverse people's opinions are in collectibles I'm interested in. That's why I enjoy the show. Thank you for tuning in.
That.
Let's change pace just a touch. Most sentimental collectible, and I'm going to pick 2. Dean, you've been my friend for a very long time. Do you know what my most sentimental collectible is, and do you know what my favorite figure in my collection is?
Oh, man.
I'm just curious.
Sentimental, I think I know. Sentimental is the Stormtrooper that you won when Vivi was born.
That is close. That
really
probably should be the number one, but no.
Wow.
Favorite figure, do you know?
Is one of your Bumblebees?
No. Wow.
The ball.
Wow, I'm totally off.
Okay, most sentimental figure. This was back when the Force Awakens had just come out, and I was looking high and low for Captain Phasma, and around this time, I want to say Victoria was still in school, and she would commute about an hour, because she had lived with me, and when I moved back, she was just commuting, and she had stopped at 4 or 5 Targets, Walmarts, whatever, on the way from San Marcos to where I live in San Antonio. And she didn't find it, but she's like, I got you a surprise. And she came home with a Funko Pop unmasked Darth Vader, which probably one of my favorite scenes in Star Wars. One of my favorite character in Star Wars as well. And I put it in a I think it's called a pop stack. It's like an acrylic pop box. And that to me, this is my most sentimental figure. I have very fond memories of that experience. My favorite figure is my NECA Gypsy Danger. I fucking love that figure, and I've had it for a while. It was like a grail figure for me, and
yeah, that's fair.
2 a.m. some dude listed it like, hey, I need some quick cash. I was like, bro, come down now. And he drove at 3 a.m. He's like, dude, I need cash now. I was like, come down, and I got PayPal ready, bro. Never underestimate the PayPal ready. And I'd love to hear in the comments if you guys could tune in as well. Boogie Manny says most sentimental Hot Toys 89 Batman and favorite Hot Toys
That's
RoboCop.
awesome.
We got Manny the 89 Batman.
That was a grail of his for years.
It was a grail of his. We got it for his wedding as a gift from all the groomsmen, and then Seth as well pitched in.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Dean, I'm curious, most sentimental, most favorite figure.
Most sentimental is probably my Hot Toys Anakin. Close would be Commander Fordo, but the reason I picked Anakin was Rainer on the show, the other Zach, right before Rogue One came out, literally 3 days before, he got hit by a car. Horrible accident, almost died. And I was pretty much there every step of the way. I went to see him in the hospital. Then when he transferred out to the rehab center, I would go there almost, every other day, spend time with him, Then he got moved back home, and he was pretty much in a chair for a year. He couldn't walk. And one day he was like, "Hey man, like, name something you want, and I'm gonna get it for you because like you've been here like next to me by my side this whole time, and like you've never wavered, and I know it's difficult." And he bought me the Hot Toys Anakin as a thank you. And I, not only is that one of the greatest Hot Toy figures ever released, but yeah, it was from Rainer for, you know, all that he went through. So I love that thing. I'll never get rid of it, right? How could I? So, and then my favorite figure currently, it'll probably change in a couple days, and we'll tell that story in a couple minutes, is my Cloud Strife on Fenrir, the Play Arts Kai. It's absolutely massive. It's beautifully like crafted. It's a wonderful figure. Pretty much everything I could have ever wanted in a Cloud figure, because he's my favorite character of all time. So yeah, that one's easily my favorite.
Let me just get through these comments real quick. Oilers Workshop says, Power of the Force orange card of Boba Fett. First new figure I ever purchased with my own money. Single Songwriter says, most sentimental old Ben Kenobi hot toy and favored Princess Leia hot toy from A New Hope. Sam says, G1 Optimus Prime sealed in the box straight from my childhood. Still remember the Kmart I got my original from.
Damn, how did you not open that as a little kid?
Love to hear it.
That's wild.
That's how you got to raise them young. Don't open anything.
How about you, John?
I'm gonna go with Mark 1, Iron Man Mark 3 by Hot Toys, 2008 release. First Hot Toys that ever touched these hands back in 2008. And I remember opening it, and I just said to myself, "Oh, this is gonna be a downhill slope," because you know it was your first Hot Toy. So I remember that good. And I'll say a statue too, and then another sentimental piece would be the Sideshow Collectibles, the Adam Hughes Mary Jane, where she's bent over the laundry basket with his suit, holding a suit. That was my first statue. So those two are the ones that hold the most sentiment for me, because it's what got me into collecting.
For me, it would be the most sentimental would be the Toy Story Woody that I got back in 1995 when the movie first came out, and it's been with me all these years. It's torn, it's battered, it's dirty, it's been through a lot with me. It's my favorite toy that I've ever had. It's one of my first toys. It's one of the toys that I want to be buried with when I die, to be honest. Like, that is coming with me. And probably my favorite right now would probably be my Grail, the Hot Toys DX11. So much so that I have two of them, which I'm selling one, by the way.
Which one is DX11?
Anybody needs one?
Joker?
Hit me up. Yeah,
the Joker.
Yeah, okay.
Joker.
The Heath Ledger. Yeah. But yeah, that's mine.
Sweet.
All right, Fern, let's talk. So I would say my first sentimental, or my most sentimental collectible, just like John, and this is going to date where I started collecting, right? The concept art Captain America was that first hot toy that I ever got. And that, again, it opened the floodgates. Like, once I saw it, like, oh shit, these are really awesome. Like, I don't think I'm just going to get one. And so the silver and black on the shield, like, I'm a big Raiders fan, as you guys all know. So that figure just will never leave the collection. I would say my favorite hot toy is probably the BVS Batman. I just really like that suit from Batman vs. Superman, and I've got the custom cape on it as well. And I just think overall, it's just a really cool representation. Really interested to see what InArt might do if it's going to potentially replace this one. But really, really enjoy just the colorway, the black, the thick neck, the gray. It just all comes together for me.
And so for me, I would say my most sentimental goes back a couple years ago. Shauna, my fiance, she had to go through a pretty difficult surgery, which meant that she wasn't going to be able to have kids. And after that point, we we had a good 6 weeks of recovery for her, where I was kind of like Dean was saying earlier, kind of at her bedside most of the time. And when she finally got through that recovery period, she was like, like, I want to treat you. What are you wanting right now? Like, is there anything that you're kind of looking for? And at the time, I only had my DX12 Batman, so I didn't have any of the Hot Toys you guys see behind me. And I was at the time really having a great time looking at the Deadpool 2 figure. I thought he was really cool. And so Shauna went out and figured out a way. She'd never bought anything from Sideshow before. She signed up for her own account and got Deadpool 2 for me for my birthday. Now, side note, she did open that figure at her workshop before I get a chance to. So note to self: if you're just getting into the Hot Toys game, don't let your fiance open your figures for you. But it was very meaningful, because it also meant, like, she doesn't collect much in the way of toys or anything like that. She doesn't see as much value in it as I do. And so it was cool to have that support with somebody I intended to marry, that she was willing to still support my collecting and the things that I think are cool, even if she just does not see it necessarily in the same way. So that was definitely very sentimental. I'd say that my favorite Hot Toy behind me is kind of a mixture of three. I actually have a really hard time narrowing it down. The DX11 Joker is the one that I sought out for a decade to get, so getting that in hand was amazing. But I am holding my breath for this new Queen Studios one, so I wonder if it'll replace it in my mind's eye. But I also really liked my Empire Strikes 40th anniversary Empire Strikes Back Boba Fett. That figure is just amazing to look at, and all the cool stuff he comes with. And then lastly, I would say that my upgraded suit Spider-Man, I got that figure and did not expect to like it nearly as much as I did, and it's a awesome figure, and he's so much fun to pose. So that was a hard one to narrow down for me, but the sentimental Deadpool one for me definitely will always hold the greatest spotlight in my collection from Shauna.
Single Songwriter says, I actually got that one already. That was a beautiful story, by the way, Ben. Thank you for sharing that. SpongeBob SquareBall says, sentimental Hot Toys Astro Boy. Favorite ACG Teddy Boy. H Green 1313. My most sentimental for me is my Hot Toys Light Side Anakin, because that was my first. My favorite is the OG Mando. Sam Gist, my first Hot Toys was Superman Returns new. Had to order from China before Sideshow was ever involved. And Sam says Fern's favorite puzzle, his puzzle from Legoland. Jesus Christ. Does anyone else have anything they'd like to share before we move on to a wonderful story that Dean had with one of our sweet Patreonies? No. Dean, tell us what happened this week.
Yeah, so this story starts off, I think it was summer 2020. A pre-order went up, 2 pre-orders went up for 2 Cloud Strife figures from Final Fantasy 7, 1 VTS and 1 Game Toys. Now the VTS one I pre-ordered pretty much immediately. It came out first, and I ordered it from a guy here in town. And then when the second one got announced, I asked the same guy. I was like, "Hey, can you get this figure?" And by the time he was able to be like, "No, there's no way for me to get a hold of this pre-order. Like, none of my suppliers have it," I missed the pre-order. They all sold out. And I was like, okay, like, it's not a big deal. I got one, so it's not the end of the world. Little did I know that I got the wrong one, because the Game Toys came out and blew the VTS out of the water, no contest. This figure is incredible. All the reviews I've seen, it's just a whole cut above. And very quickly, I think it retailed for like $170. Very quickly it rose up in price, and someone posted it maybe like a month ago for $450. And I was like, I'm not paying $450 at all. So I asked my buddy, Will Fox Vacation, I was like, "Hey man, like, what's a fair price on this?" And he was like, $450 is a really fair price. So it's like, what? So I go on eBay and look, and they're regularly selling for like $6 by itself, because there's two versions, the regular and the deluxe that comes with the bike. And the one with the bike is selling for like $1,000. And I was like, bro, like, I'm just going to have to not own this figure ever. Like, I'm at that point where I'm okay not owning it. There's no way I'm spending that kind of money. And I looked all the time for it, and it sold out. Nobody, even again on eBay, prices are crazy. I was like, hey, maybe I'll try AliExpress. Same shit, $4.50 with $50 shipping. I was like, bro, like, forget this. So I forget about it. Well, Brenton messages me yesterday. Sweet Angel Brenton. Catch him on John's show, Collectors Club, and Small Talk.
And Monday Night's Unboxing.
And Monday Night's Unboxing, yeah. He messaged me. He's like, hey, man, is this the figure you're looking for? And it was the VTS Cloud. I was like, no, unfortunately, I own this one. The one I'm looking for is the Game Toys. Not even like a minute goes by, and he sends me a link for the Game Toys Cloud. And I was like, this is either not going to be in stock, like maybe he missed it on the page where it says like wait list full or whatever, or closed, or it's going to be so expensive that I'm just, going to have to tell him like, oh, thanks, but no. So I clicked the link, add the cart, $220. I could not click the button fucking fast enough. So I do it. I order the figure. And I'm like, bro, I'm half expecting an email saying like, oh, this wasn't actually in stock. Sorry. So I get an email. I'm like, oh, fuck, here we go. Click it. Order confirmed. I was like, oh, shit. It actually went through. This is fucking insane. And then, I'm a pessimist. I'm like, oh, like, I just like keep expecting to get an email, right? So I go out to eat and I dropping my mom off, and I get an email. Shipping, here's your fucking shipping notification, and here's your tracking. So it's on the way today, right now. I don't know when it's gonna get here. Brenton, you fucking sweet angel, kept an eye out for me. Absolutely didn't. I didn't ask him to. He just did it because he's a fucking angel, and he saved me gobs and gobs of money.
Gabagool?
Yeah, gabagool. And yeah, it was just one of the sweetest things. I was totally blown away that he was able to do that, because I had given up. I completely just gave up. So I'm super excited.
How much does it go for in the secondary market?
Dude, like 600, like on the low end. And I almost bought the one that was 450, but it was 450, and then he was like, not including shipping. I was like, bro, you're already making like hand over fist like amount of profit on this figure. Like, I'm also not gonna pay shipping. So I didn't even bother messaging him, because like I said, on eBay they were 600 minimum, and then like 650, and then like 625 with like $30 shipping. I was like, dude, forget it. Like, I'm over it. So yeah, I got it for after shipping. It was like $230. It was IKEA Hobbies,
and it's on the way.
It's on the way. Yeah,
we should do a live unboxing just to make sure. Like,
yeah, I messaged Sean, because Sean got his. He's waiting for it, and he wanted to do an unboxing on Mondays with John, and he was like, dude, do you want to go? I was like, fuck no, I'm not going to be there. I'm going to be so sad. Like, I'm going to be so upset that it's not my figure. Like, I don't even want to watch the unboxing, bro.
Now you guys could do it together.
Yeah, and he was like, dude, now you can join me in unboxing. So yeah, we'll see when I get it, and hopefully it'll be this week. So
Brenton's gonna need a few extra pews at the end.
Oh
of the
my
show
god,
tonight, buddy!
bro.
I think
he needs he needs a beepy touch, bro. Wow, that's what he needs.
Well, I don't know about that,
but we were gonna share that during New This Week, but I think we got a little too excited to get into the news. But what a wonderful story, and I hope it works out for you.
Yeah.
Our movie of the week, picked by Ben, was The Edge of Tomorrow. When Earth falls under attack from invincible aliens, no military unit in the world is able to beat them. Major William Cage, an officer who has never seen combat, is assigned to a suicide mission. Killed within moments, Cage finds himself thrown into a time loop in which he relives the same brutal fight and his death over and over again. I went into this movie completely blind as to what it was when it came out. And I just remember just being completely blown away by this film. Obviously, it, kind of has the Groundhog Day, sort of setup, which, I guess you can get that from the title of the film, but what a fucking film. I mean, the way that he goes into the first battle, can't even barely walk in this exosuit, to like the end when he's like, doing backflips and shit, is incredible. Emily Blunt, I think, does a great job in this film. Tom Cruise kills it as well. And it's such a different film, very non-linear plot. It's such a different film, and it really is like a one-of-a-kind film. Like, I don't think I've ever seen a movie like this. And it's just an absolutely banger film. And I know Dean said it last week, but it was also like kind of a little bit of a bonding thing for me and Dean with this film. So I if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. It has a great alien design, some great tech, some great action, kind of like small humor sprinkled throughout. And it's such a different film that I think if you're into any of those things, war movies, alien movies, sci-fi, etc., it's a huge disservice that you're not, if you haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, this movie, man, it's so cool, bro. A lot of people don't know this. It's actually based off of a manga, a Japanese comic. It's called
It's so dope that they give her the big sword too. To like, that's
what the hell, bro? Just interjected right there.
My bad.
I enjoyed this movie. Don't ruin it, Dean. Talking about manga.
I know. I was like, I know John's not gonna like to hear
Princess
that.
Momofuku.
Yeah. It's a little different. Like they look more like Master Chief in the manga. They have like suits, not exosuits. So I thought that was a nice little touch to change it up a bit. I've never read the manga, so I don't know how different it is, but it was based off of that. Yeah, this movie, bro. I went in expecting this to be the greatest movie of all time, and I wasn't disappointed. It's not the greatest movie of all time, but it's such a fucking banger. Like, the CG is so well done, like, it doesn't feel, like, even now, it doesn't feel outdated. It's very gritty. Like Zach said, there's not really a time loop movie quite like this. Most of them are like comedies and like, oh, I gotta have the perfect day, and then it
like Groundhog Day sort of.
Yeah, I gotta, yeah, it's very different, and it's kind of refreshing, and the way it happens, how he gets the power is kind of. It's a little kind of like MacGuffin-y, but it works, right? You need something to drive the story.
Yeah.
And yeah, Emily Blunt, banger. Not only is she beautiful, but her character is like actually fucking awesome. The scene, I don't want to go too heavy in the spoilers in case someone hasn't seen it, but the scene where they're in like a little barn and he's giving her coffee.
The sugar scene.
Yeah, and like he knows exactly how she likes her coffee, and she's like, how many times have we done this? Like she starts to figure it out that like he's the stalling. Such a good scene, dude. Oh my god, this movie is just so good. Yeah, if you have not watched this, like Zach said, you're doing yourself a disservice. Go find it, stream it. It's incredible.
I wish, Ben, your taste in figures was the same as your taste in movies, because this was great. I was shocked. I wasn't expecting this. And when I found out it came out in 2014, I was so disappointed, because it's like you had this in the background you could have watched, and if it wasn't for you, I don't think I would have ever watched it. IMDb 7.9 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes 91%. In the beginning, you're kind of like, okay, but damn, when that first groundhog episode happens, when he goes back, and then you're like, he starts getting really into it, and it wasn't like they repeated it constantly. It's like they gave you bits of the past, and then they incorporated bits of the future. So it wasn't like it was constantly being repeated. I loved it. I liked the where he got to the point where he's talking to, what was it, the J Crew or something? What was the J Crew or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And how they convinced them afterwards. I thought that was so cool. And when they go into the office to speak to the general, and they had to like choreograph their whole, well, someone's coming from the left and this and that. I thought that was awesome. What else was interesting about it? The action scenes in the beginning were really cool. You know what I want to see? I'd love to see a prequel of her experience in Verdun.
Yes.
Totally. I think that would be really a really cool thing to do.
Yeah, because she's like a legend when the movie starts.
Yeah, like you hear everything about Verdun, but they don't get into details about it. So
yeah, dude.
The ending,
fucking tight.
The ending was a little like, you kind of, I don't know. I had to go back and kind of read up on it. I get what they were trying to do, but I would have liked it to end a little bit differently.
Yeah, the ending was a little odd.
It was a little, but like you grow so attached to Tom Cruise's character, and you feel bad for him. You really do. But that's all rectified by the end. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was cool, especially the scene when they get into that car crash, and then you see him getting the blood transfusion, and you're like, you know what just went down. And it's like,
yeah, it's like, fuck. Yeah.
So Ben, awesome pick movie. Awesome movie.
Glad you liked it, man.
Yeah.
For me, I would say a couple things. So I hadn't watched this. I had watched this. I thought last week when I picked it that I'd never seen this before, and then I started watching it. In the first 10 minutes, I was like, oh, I have 100% seen this. So second watch was fantastic. I did enjoy it. I liked seeing Bill Paxton again. Rest in peace to Bill Paxton, because he was an amazing actor and such a powerful voice.
Oh, he died?
Yeah, he died a couple of years ago. I think 2017.
Oh wow,
2017.
Yeah.
So awesome actor, and just like, again, such a powerful voice as the general that, you know, kind of rinses and repeats his speech every time the timeline resets. I loved the action, and I thought the CG and everything, especially for the year this came out, was literally amazing. The aliens look really, really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these scenes when he's, you know, you can tell he's starting to count his steps, and, you know, he knows when things are going to happen. That reminded me of some challenging video games I've played in the past where it's like you die so many times that you get to the point where you know exactly where to stand, exactly when to run, exactly when to shoot. And it, you know, it's fulfilling when you see him get kind of through these checkpoints closer and closer to the end. The one thing that took me out of the story just a little bit was the chemistry between him and Rita, and I think only because they play it in the movie as though their feelings are developing slowly, but really it's his feelings are developing for her, but for her it's the same day over and over again. So I found it a little unrealistic that by some of the final days of the movie, that she seems like she's falling for him, even though it should technically be the same amount of hours in the day.
But
that
he
they
knows
live
everything
every
she
day.
likes by then, though, right, Ben? Like he
exactly.
Can
So
play to every.
Yeah, and she can understand what he went through to get to where they're at. So
exactly.
I think you're right, but yeah,
that helped it be passable. I think that was the only thing that was like, okay, like, why is she falling so hard for him? I can see the other way around for sure, but I guess
Tom
you're
Cruise,
right.
I fall for him, bro.
Yeah, he's a charming guy. And, you know, Tom Cruise always has to ride a motorcycle in a film, so we got to see his iconic ride.
When that happened, I was like, this is the most useless scene. I was like, this is such a Tom Cruise ego stroke scene.
When did he ride a motorcycle?
When he eventually gets tired of seeing her die.
Yeah.
So he like goes off base and goes to a bar.
Goes to the bar.
But they show him
yeah.
Like, where the fuck did you get the motorcycle from?
Where'd you get? So I thought that was funny, but otherwise, I mean, I thought the movie, like, obviously it had to find an ending some way or another. I thought it was cool that you got to figure out that these aliens actually have a pretty high level of intelligence, and that they've strategized this plan, that it's not just them being crazy alien creatures. But I always like a good end of the world movie, and I would 100% recommend this to watch if you don't get a chance, if you have never got a chance to see it. And it is on Canadian Netflix. I think it's on American Netflix as well. So very good. I'm glad you guys liked it.
Yeah, it almost reminded me of like Starship Troopers, where they're not just crazy aliens; they're highly intelligent. Yeah, that was cool.
I thought that was cool.
It is my choice. Oh, I'm sorry, Marco, please.
No, go for it, Zach.
Marco and Fern gotta talk.
Yeah, Fern's gotta say something.
Yeah.
I forgot he was here, to be
Damn,
honest.
you hate to see it. So, Dean, sorry to interject while you were speaking, but I was saying it was cool that they gave her the big anime sword, right? Like that carried over.
Yes.
Right. So, love this movie. I think, so Emily Blunt and Tom Cruise are in two of the movies, well, three if you count this one, where it's like I go in hearing the buzz and thinking it'll be good, and then it even ends up exceeding my expectations. So this movie, A Quiet Place, and Mission Impossible Fallout are like movies where I was like, okay, I heard it's good, and then I'm like, oh, I'm sucked in. Like, this is like people doing their craft at the highest level. And like really stripped down storytelling. So this is just what I really prefer, right? Like claustrophobic, stripped down storytelling that like starts and then just doesn't stop. So this movie, right, like starts with all the little clips and it's like getting you immersed right away. And how relatable is it to like, okay, first of all, they take Tom Cruise, one of the baddest action stars, right? Like one of the coolest action stars, and make him this weenie. Like the rest of us, if we were just forced into combat, like he's thrown into it, you would have the same thing. Like, fuck, let me get out of this any way that I can. So his character is like so relatable.
I love that the sergeant or the major or whatever had that piece of paper. It's like, it says you're a deserter. That you would try any way to make a phone call and compromise the opposite.
I would have 100% did what he did and said, do you know who I am?
Oh, sir, I do not.
Just had it. So just to see him try to scramble, right, and like trying to figure out how to turn on his safety, it's just like it's just so well done, and you're just there with him, like you feel like, oh fuck, he's not equipped for this. And then as things progress, I just really like the character design, and then the MacGuffin, as you mentioned, of how he kind of gets this power. It just all made sense to me, and just I think as John said, like it doesn't retread too much stuff. Like it gives you the snippets that you need to know, and some of those kind of stick in your mind. So just like so incredibly well done. And Emily Blunt's just so terrific in this, like just so gorgeous. And I think the two leads were just phenomenal. I can't say enough good things about this movie. Just really one of my pleasant surprises. One question for the group. Is it now called Edge of Tomorrow, Live, Die, Repeat? Like they changed it after the
it used to just be Live, Die, Repeat, and then they changed it. So I think officially it's just called Edge of Tomorrow.
I think they changed it. They removed the Live, Die, Repeat for some. Wasn't it for some like, tripping crybaby thing nowadays? Yeah.
Oh, a spoiler reason or something.
I don't know.
Okay,
PC stuff, bro.
Yeah, well, it's a shame that this movie bombed, so we'll probably never get another. But just such a banger.
Guys,
if you fucking say what I think you're about to say for the second row, you're never coming back.
Shoot him. See if he comes back with a movie watched.
Terrible, bud.
Fern, just fucking die, bro.
What the?
Don't repeat it.
Don't lay in the street.
I couldn't find it. Where was it on?
Jesus Christ.
Netflix?
You gotta let us know if you can't find it.
At least come up with some excuse and say you watched the day after tomorrow, and you know what I mean? Like you watched the wrong movie.
I haven't even seen half of it to talk about. I just bullshit it. Come on, man. You gotta,
Jesus, Fern, 2 weeks in a row. No wonder I tried to skip it. Jesus.
Dennis Quaid is so good in this movie.
Don't worry about
it. Jesus. I watched tonight.
Love you, Fern. Don't miss out on this one, bro. You will enjoy it. Like definitely.
Yeah, no, it's worth a watch.
He'll watch it at the edge of tomorrow. It'll be 12 o'clock his time.
All right, Zach, what's your pick? Here we go, guys.
My pick for movie of the week is...
It's going to be some, like, war, crime, I don't know. Let's hear it.
Evangelion 3.0, oh, baby. Let's fucking go. No, I'm just kidding. It's,
I was like, wow, really?
No, that movie was fucking terrible. It is The Usual Suspects.
What the hell is that? Okay.
With
The Usual Suspects.
Kaiser Soze, yeah?
Kaiser Soze, yeah.
Let me see if I have it here.
It's on, I think Ben said it was on Canadian Netflix.
Okay,
Bro,
good.
I already know the next movie.
I think I saw it on there.
Usual
What movie are you
Suspects?
picking?
The Usual
Private
Suspects,
chat. Private chat.
Yeah.
It's also on YouTube. I sent the link. It was for free on YouTube. You can watch it.
No, we don't have it on YouTube, on Netflix here.
Yeah, just type in The Usual Suspects on YouTube. You can watch the whole
It's
movie.
there? Okay.
That's
It's
my movie
on
of the week.
Prime as well. If
Okay,
you have Prime.
Dean, it is the time of the show where we say thank you to the people that keep this show going, that keep us looking and sounding as good as we do.
Yeah. Sorry, I was typing really quick. Huge shout out to Sean Fear, Ian Seaby, Renee Mendez, Eric Mariscal, Quinn Aguirre, Lemur Hernandez, King Louis, Mark Pearson, Paul Schreiber, James Colley, Equan. Which one was it? I forgot.
It's Equan.
Equan.
That's how he wants it, but I just call him Quan now.
Equan. Chris Valencerina, Ben Thomas, Chris Letty, David Jones, Sam Gist, Daminator, Joao Bretta, Sweet Danny Lee, Deanie Martin, Stephen Kreb, Big Ol' Fern, King Zach, Caesar Mariquin, Mark Phillips, Lisa Martin Bomonsky, Rick DeGregorio, The Everyday Collector, Ricardo Valdez, Jose CZ, Erwin Azucena, The Illustrious Rainer, Alad Morgan, Tukothri, Wah, Derek B., Carlos Saavedra, Matt Clevenger, Seth Tucker, CC3PO, Scott Smith, Domaton, Bo LeBoyd, Jimmy James, Stephen Percha, Sean Usby, Scott Bradley, Steve and Maria Stanley, Eddie Manzanares, Louis Bennett, Chip Perrin, Jimmy Hernandez, Gigi the Judgmental, and Brenton Palmer. That one was epic.
Amazing.
Fireworks and shit.
Why do I have a red thing?
What the hell? I've never seen that before.
I don't know. This is useful. How do I don't even know what the fuck is going on.
Oh, I thought we'd been hacked.
Hey guys, you're watching the Disney Channel. Oh,
yeah.
Beam me up, Scotty.
Our May Patreon benefits. Ew, I don't like this. How do we turn this off? Someone Google that for me. May Patreon benefits: the Bricks and Brews Hollow sticker and the Collecting Weekly Pogs. You will have a chance to get a common or chase Pog. Everyone will get one of them. And also, if you're in the top tier, you'll get the full set of the full Pog set, which is 6 exclusive Pogs with exclusive backings. We have 3 tiers. The Sweet Angel tier at $5 a month, which is stickers sent straight to your door and access to Ox After Dark replay. The Certified Crispy tier, which is the Certified Crispy certificate. We also have figure fix assistance, and if you're international, those will be charged at cost. And the $25 tier, which is the deluxe Pog set on your first pledge, doubles of all the stickers we send and all the benefits of the previous tiers. If you want to join the Patreon, link is in the description, or the YouTube field rather. YouTube channel members, we have Mojo Z78, OG Fan, Absolute Irwin, Bema, Test Just One, Mark Pearson, DK Avenger 702, Ben Thomas, OMFG Rick, Justin Harass, S Beam, Paul Schreiber, Andres IB, Andrew Gibo, Daminator, CC3PO, Sam Gist, Lemur Hernandez, Thomas Clark, and Carlito. If you want to join the YouTube channel membership, when we get, I think, 3 or 4 more members, we unlock the John emoji. So sign up if you'd like. 99 cents for Patreon members, or $2.99 for the Peanut Gallery tier. As far as the network goes, we have CW Live, which you're watching now, OFAC, which I believe is recording this Thursday, Small Talk, After Dark, which is tomorrow at 10:30, Bricks and Brews, The Ringcast, live unboxing, which we had 2 this week, Collectors Club on Friday, Pose Wars getting pushed back to June, and this weekend we just had a Live and Let Dice, and it was absolutely incredible, one of our best episodes yet, so stay tuned for the next one in another week. If you want to support the show with some swag, we have TeePublic. You can buy all kinds of shirts there. They're always on sale. I definitely wouldn't buy them when they're not on sale. But we have all kinds of designs for the different logos of the show. You can do that at the link that we just posted in the comments. John, can you read the socials for me, please?
Yeah, of course. On Facebook, we got Collecting Weekly. We also have Collecting Weekly Auxiliary. Instagram, we got at Collecting Weekly, and also at Collecting Weekly _clips for all the funny bloopers and moments throughout each show. And at the _everyday_collector. Guys, be sure to... if you're not already on, subscribe to these social media pages. You get on there because there's tons of great content.
Yeah, Cece actually was rocking the Kanji shirt on unboxing yesterday. Never seen it look so good. So definitely, if you guys want to support us there through that, it gives us a few bucks in our pocket to keep the doors open, and we definitely appreciate all the support. Shout out time. Do you guys have any shout outs you want to give or plugs that you want to do?
Like I usually say, shout out to everyone in the chat that came out today, everybody who is going to watch the playback, and the podcast listeners. Again, we wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for you guys, and I hope you're enjoying everything that we're putting out there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, huge shout out again, Brenton. You fucking sweet angel. And shout out to all the beautiful panel members here. I love you guys.
Wow.
Not Fern, though. He didn't watch the movie.
Yeah. Shout out to Fern. What a
No,
guy.
Fern's a good guy. Fern's
What a guy.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mark. I got to have a little chat with him today, and what a guy. What a guy. But yeah, I think we had a great show tonight. We have another exciting After Dark tomorrow, and plenty of great content coming this week, including another awesome episode of Club. But anyways, I'm Zach.
I'm Dean.
I'm Jonathan.
I'm Fern.
I'm Marco.
And I'm Ben.
We'll catch you on the next episode. Jesus Christ, Dean. Are you going to give us the bye?
Oh, I did. I'm sorry. I've muted after I said Dean. Bye.
Au revoir.
I was like...